Just another picture I stay on Cape Cod. It is time for baseball here from White House Field, the matchup between the Harwich Mariners and the visiting Chatham Anglers. I'm Thomas Inzarella alongside my broadcasting partner Austin Rooney. And as the Mariners try to bounce back after they have dropped 2 in a row and 3 of their last 4, as they try back on the winning side here at home. And the interesting pitching matchup tonight, we have Will Matheson out of Stanford University going on the mound for the Harwich Mariners, and for the Chatham Anglers is Kyle Hurt. What should we expect from these two hurlers tonight?
So Will Matheson is actually a two-way player. I had my podcast with him, was actually posted yesterday on YouTube and on Twitter, and basically so far for him on the season, he's pitched 1 game, 4 innings of work, allowed just 1 earned run, 3 hits. He's been quite good so far this season. Now, for Kyle Busch, it's a little bit of a different story for him. He's pitched in a few games this year. He's allowed 3 earned runs, and ERA just over 2, so he's also been good. He has actually allowed 3 unearned runs in addition to his 3 earned runs. So we'll have to see how he does tonight, if the defense behind him will step up and support him tonight.
As the Anglers, these two teams just faced off back at the last day of June, just a few days ago on Saturday night, where the Harwich Mariners fell by a score of 5-1, which was a game that was close the whole time. Jack Dreyer on the mound facing Eric Miller for the Anglers. It was a 5-1 final score, but it was 1-1 heading into the 7th inning.
That's right. So the Harwich Mariners were actually down 1-0 headed into the top of the 6th. They scored a run. It was a double from Casals, followed by a single from Shunk. And the Mariners tied it at 1, and things were looking pretty good, but the bullpen was unable to hold. It was one of the few moments this season when the bullpen has not been outstanding. For the most part, the bullpen has been really, really good game in and game out, no matter who you see, whether it be Matheson at the back of the game, Gillis. Really, everybody the Mariners have turned to has been solid, but unfortunately in that game, the Mariners were unable to hold on to the 1 run allowed.
Yeah, we said in the pregame show, big importance is the hitting, and that's what, usually if they're going to lose, it's going to be from the bats. The pitching has been outstanding the whole season. It's either hit or miss. As we've seen the bats really kind of rake some runs in this year. Remember, 10 runs back against Orleans on 17 hits. We back at 2 at 10 runs on 14 hits. So it's just a matter of the bats can come alive, and we'll have to see if that will factor in tonight.
Yeah, it's been feast or famine for the Harwich Mariners. You mentioned a couple of 10-run games. They scored 8 versus Chatham. This is a team that can string together a lot of hits and put up a lot of runs on the board in specific games. But then on the other hand, you talk about it, games they're not scoring many runs. They scored just 1 run versus Chatham. They scored just 1 run versus Hyannis. There have been a number of games in which they've scored 0 runs or scored 1 run. And the doubleheader versus just a couple of weeks ago, when the Mariners had no hitter, they scored 1 run in the first game and had a tie at 1-1 in game 2. So again, these are just examples of the Mariners have not been able to put up a ton of runs at one specific point. So we'll have to see if the Mariners can turn things around with the bats and be more consistent. They see if they can put up 4 or 5 runs game in and game out. All of a sudden, this is a team that's going to win a lot of games because the pitching is just that good.
Yeah, the best pitching team in the league in the Harwich Mariners. As we'll see if they can try to really get the bats alive today. What 2 players should we look out for on each side?
So for the Harwich Mariners, I think a couple of big players to watch. Aaron Shunk. Shunk's playing quite well right now at third base. Didn't play on Sunday. Played again on Saturday versus Chatham when he had the big RBI single to tie the game. And then I'd actually like to spotlight 2 other players for the Harwich Mariners. Danny Casals. Casals has been red hot at the plate. I mentioned the double versus Chatham. He hit the 2-run home run versus Orleans. This is a guy that will put up a lot of hits, and he's quite streaky, and he's on a really, really hot streak right now. We'll have to see if he can continue that. The other player to watch, Nate Eichhoff for the Harwich Mariners. Eichhoff is playing second base tonight. We'll have to see how he does defensively. But more importantly, offensively, ever since he got that first hit, he's been red hot. Let's see if he can continue that streak as well.
So we'll see if the Mariners can get the bats going. She's named 2 big keys there, Aaron Shunk and Nate Eichhoff. So first pitch just about to be set. But first, the national anthem will step aside. You listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
America with the singing of our national anthem. This evening's anthem will be sung by Lily Duffy of Franklin, Mass.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Matheson behind the plate from the University of Georgia, number 31.
And welcome back inside White House Field for the top of the first as things are almost set here. As on the mound for the Mariners, it is a big right-hander, tall, lengthy guy named Will Matheson.
Yeah, Will Matheson, a two-way player, 6'7". He's listed on the Stanford website at 6'5". He's taller than that, 6'7" or so. Had an interview with him on Sunday for Mariners Monday, and that was a really good interview. He told us all about his time at Stanford and how he's always valued the academic side of school.
So Matheson will be making his second appearance here on the Cape. It is also his second start. He started back in Hyannis on the 25th of June. He did pick up the loss as he only gave up one run on 3 hits and 4 innings, and that was in the game when the Mariners did not score any runs. So,
and he's a guy who's going to throw a cutter. You're going to see a cutter. He's going to cut in on the right and the left-handed hitters there.
As first pitch fastball to John Rave misses for a ball, and we're underway from White House Field.
He told me it's supposed to look like his fastball, and then at the last second have that little bit of movement that's supposed to fool the hitter.
Righty-lefty matchup. He fires a fastball low and outside at the knees for a strike. Counting him back up at 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-hander. The 1-1. Off-speed pitch runs up and outside for a ball.
John Rave, someone who's hit well so earlier in the Cape, but recently he struggled. He had a 6-game hit streak earlier, but now he's just 1 for his last 9.
The 2-run runs upstairs. Count runs to 3 balls and 1 strike on the center fielder out of Illinois State. So nobody on, nobody out here on the top of the first. The 3-1 to leadoff man Rave. Pitch just misses off the plate, and Rave will take his base as leadoff walk for the Anglers. Mariners wearing their cream home uniforms. Chatham wearing their road blue
Ramirez.
These two teams last played Saturday night in Chatham. Chatham are winning that game by a score of 5-1. Wind blowing just a little towards left center, more towards the left side. So we're on first. Nobody out as a first pitch fastball to Ben Ramirez is at the belt for a strike. Third baseman hitting .261 this year. Masson from the stretch, comes set. The 0-1. His spot at the knees is he's ahead in the count now. No balls and 2 strikes.
Good to see him recover after walking the first batter. He gets that out of his mind, and he goes right back and attacks Ramirez.
The 0-2 to Ramirez. Pitch is swung on and a pop-up. And he'll find the seats down on the third base side. And they'll do it again on no balls and 2 strikes. So, Rave off at first after leadoff walk. And nobody out here in the top of the first. Scoreless game so far from White House Field. The 0-2 to Rave. Curveball swung on and missed. Ramirez down in front of that one. He goes down on strikes as Masson picks up his first strikeout of the evening.
Beautiful breaking ball against Ramirez there, and he swings right over it. Not only is it change of speed, but he changes. It's a lot of break and movement on that pitch. It was up in the zone and then immediately falls below the knees.
So Masson picks up the first stat here in the away half of the first inning. Rave off a first after a walk. And stepping in is Tristan English, the right fielder out of Georgia Tech. First pitch is swung on and lofted over the first base bleacher side out of play. So 1 man on with 1 man out here in the top half of the first inning. Scoreless game. The 0-1 English going towards second is Rave up in the zone. Pitch down from Meadows, gets away from Eichhoff over at second. Inning towards third now is Rave as he will take a turn over there at third. So he advances first to third on the steal.
Yeah, that's not a great throw from Mason Meadows. The throw has to be a little bit lower than that. It was up and over the head of the second baseman, Eichhoff. So while Eichhoff, maybe he should have been able to get a better glove on that ball, it should have been a lower throw from Mason Meadows.
So run on third now with 1 man out as the Anglers look to strike first here in the top half of the first. As the 1-1 pitch to English. Pitch plunks him right on the shoulder, on the inside shoulder. As he'll take his base over at first, and home plate umpire Michael Finn will give him a new ball. And actually, interesting here tonight as the umpire is Michael Finn over behind the plate and his son. So father-son duo, Sam Finn over at first.
Drew Mendoza.
So runners in the corners here with 1 out. Anglers have gone 2-2 over their last 4 games, including win over the Mariners. As the first pitch is spot on the outside corner for a strike to Mendoza, the designated hitter to this evening.
Mendoza is starting to heat up a little bit at the plate. He started off the season just 1 for 12, but over the past few games, he's a solo home run versus YD. Picked up a couple of other hits, too.
Played for YD last year as the 0-1 is check swing as it just misses the bottom part of the zone as the Meadows will check over the third base umpire who's behind second base, Anthony Letizio, but he did not go. So count even at 1 ball and 1 strike on Mendoza. Runners on the corners here with 1 out. Matson comes set from the stretch. Kicks and deals. Runner goes towards second. Grabble over towards the hole as it gets past Casals as Mendoza was a hit and run. So 1 run is in as Rave will come across, and advancing to third is Tristan English. As it was perfectly hit in as Casals was going to cover second with the left-hander Mendoza up. And just got past me to try to halt on his brakes, but just got past him.
Yeah, very lucky piece of hitting from Mendoza. hit it right where Casals would normally be at shortstop. If the runner is not going there, it's probably a double play to end the inning, but instead, runners on the corners and 1 run in for the Chatham Anglers.
So Anglers now lead this one 1-0 with still 1 out as Blake Sable will step in from the left side. Fastball runs upstairs for a ball. Sable, another one of those USC guys. Ben Ramirez in the 2 holes, also a Trojan, as well as starting pitcher Kyle Hertz this evening for the Anglers. As the 1-0 was swung on and rolled over towards the first base side, will go over towards the bullpen. Masson comes set, and he fires the curveball, swung on and chopped over towards first as it looks like it caught Lipsius in the sun as it went in the air and advancing towards third now. Cruising in, standing up is going to be Mendoza, so English will come around and just, that will be the second error. Looks like maybe we'll see how they mark it down as a hit or an error, but
I'd have to imagine that's an error on Lipsius. Lipsius is playing over at first base. It's a high chopper off the bat of Sable. And Lipsius was going to second base on that ball. There was a good chance he was going to be able to turn too. So right before he fielded it, though, and tried to make the quick throw over to second base, I think he got ahead of himself, and he moved his glove over to try to make the throw before he even caught the ball.
Yeah, I think the sun might have caught him up there as runners on the corners again here as a first pitch fastball is at the letters for a strike to Colin Simpson, the left fielder out of Oklahoma State. He doesn't have sunglasses on, and especially where the sun's at right now, just behind us on the first base side. White House Field does play a little bit of shadows. It's running towards second now. It's cut on a miss. Meadows throws down to second. The throw is in time as Casals applies the tag. So Meadows gets him this time as Sable's thrown out at second.
And both runs are going down as earned against Matheson.
They did mark Sable's single. They marked it a single.
I'm a little surprised about that, to be quite honest. I think that there's no question Lipsius should have gotten at least 1 out.
As a backdoor curveball gets Colin Simpson looking. However, 2 runs scored by the Anglers in the top half of the first inning. The Mariners trail by a score of 2-0 after half an inning. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the latter half of the first inning. It is a 2-0 ball game already after 2 runs were scored in the top half of the first inning by the Anglers, and thanks to back-to-back singles from Mendoza and Sable. Although Madison did strike out 2 anglers in a half inning. As leading things off for the Harwich Mariners is Chris Galland. Chris Galland, Ben Norman, Aaron Shunk set to do things for the Mariners as Galland swings to the first pitch and he hits one off the end of the bat, rolling toward third. Ramirez picks it up, throwing to first, and Galland is retired for the first out.
I would like to mention it's a nice play by the third baseman, Ramirez, charging in on that ball. It may have been closer to Arenas' ball, but if Arenas was going to field it, he was going to have to take an extra second to field it because he was far deeper in the infield. Field on the backhand and throw across the diamond. It would have been a really close play. Ramirez cuts the ball off right as it reaches the end of the infield grass, makes a nice play, and throws over to first for the easy out.
So 1 pitch, 1 out for the Anglers. Cal is making his 3rd start this season for the Anglers as Norman will show bunt, but it will hold back and pitch misses for a ball as Ramirez is charging in on the bunt that time.
And coming into the last game, Norman was struggling a little bit, but he had a big double on Sunday in which he was able to lead off. I believe it was the 6th inning.
As the off-speed pitch gets Norman a little out in front there, Cal even backed up at 1 ball and 1 strike here with 1 away, nobody on. Norman laced one out towards the right center gap in the 2-1 loss to Hyannis. The 1-1 pitch Norman, and it plunks him right on the kneecap. And he'll take a jog down towards first base. Seems to be all right.
So now 2-hit batsmen within the 1st inning. You see it more here on Cape Cod where you still have younger players developing their control.
From the University of Georgia,
early jitters as well.
Aaron Shunk.
So with 1 out here, runner on first, the third baseman Aaron Shunk out of Georgia.
Shunk had the lone RBI versus Chatham in the 1st game back on Saturday.
After the Casals double, Shunk hit a bloop single over towards center field, and Casals able to score as a first pitch slider comes in at the belt for a strike.
And Shunk's been very productive since he's arrived in Harwich. He's 9 for 24, 375 batting average. He's also drawn a walk, but I think most impressively, he's only struck out twice, which means he has a great feel for the strike zone.
As the 0-1 just misses low and outside for a ball. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike on the right-hander. Norman leads off of first. Ready matchup. Pitch is swung on and lofted over towards shallow center field. Coming in as his center fielder, Rave, and is able to make the catch for out number 2. So it looked like it had maybe some drop to it, but just didn't drop quick enough as Rave was able to patrol over there for the out. I was also kind of off the end of the bat there. You could hear it wasn't off the sweet spot. So just a lit out in front of that one was Shunk.
In the pregame show, I spotlighted the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Aaron Shunk, who flew out to center field, but he's been very good as of late.
It's a close play over at first as Norman will dive back safely after the throw over from Hurt.
The other 2 players, Nate Eichhoff and Danny Casals, both of whom are red hot at the plate.
So Eichhoff taking in from the left side with 2 here. Runner on first as the first pitch is swung on. Breaking ball in the dirt, and Eichhoff goes fishing down there.
That was a big breaking ball from Hurt. You don't see it all that often where you have that much break on the ball, but took a monster dive down to the dirt, and Eichhoff went with it.
Eichhoff swings a lot of first pitches. Sometimes the first pitch, maybe the best pitch some guys see is usually a fastball, but that's why they switched up there, and that's what Hurt did there. Is another breaking pitch gets Eichhoff swinging just out of the zone below the knees. It's counted as 0-2 now on Eichhoff.
Eichhoff is 8 for his last 17 at the plate ever since he got the first hit of his season versus Katuitt.
He's been really raking at the plate, and it's shown, and his confidence level can't be any higher, and this is the 0-2. Pitch misses low and away for a ball. Count is 1-2 on Eichhoff.
And his average is up to a respectable 178. When you look at that, it's not good, but, it's to a point where, it's respectable. You look at that and you say, okay, he's not an easy out in the order.
As the 1-2 is swung on and chopped foul, as Bush was able to make the play over there at first. Michael Bush just recently activated today by the Anglers. Out of UNC, fellow teammates with Harwich Mayor Tyler Baum. Baum is set to go tomorrow in Brewster. As Lykoff will wait for things again at the 1-2. The payoff pitch. Fastball misses upstairs, just a little bit too high there. Maybe the release point just got away from Norman. Heads towards second. It's a 2-2. Misses for a ball. Throw down a second is in time, but Norman's nabbed out by Blake Sable. So good throw from Sable. Letter able to get the Anglers out of the inning as the Anglers lead after one inning by a score of 2-0. Listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The first baseman from the University of North Carolina, number 33.
And welcome back inside White House Field for inning number 2. Mariners trail by a score of 2-0 after the Anglers are able to put 2 runs up in the first inning. Will Masson back on the hill as he fires a first pitch fastball to Michael Bush, the first baseman. Bush, who was just recently activated today by the Anglers. The left-hander swung on a curveball, chopped over towards second on the ground. Eichhoff scoops it up, throw on the first, and Bush is retired for out number 1.
Number 31, the second baseman from the University of North Carolina.
So with one down in the top of the second inning, it is the number 8 hitter, Ashton McGee, the second baseman. Another left-hander as he faces the right-hander, Masson. First pitch curveball just misses down in the zone for a ball. Masson from the windup. The 1-0 is swung on and chopped over towards second again. Scooped up by Eichhoff, and he'll throw a short throw on the run, and McGee is retired. Again, another ground out towards second, 4-3, as there are 2 away here in the top of the second.
It's good to see Mathewson getting ahead and getting a couple of quick outs. He struggled through the first inning, worked his pitch count up a little bit, but getting a couple of quick ground outs is going to help him with the lower pitch count and possibly work deeper into this game.
He roughed up a little bit in the first inning as the Anglers put 2 runs across.
I was surprised he was actually charged with both earned runs, despite the fact I thought he was not going to get charged with one of the runs, as there was given a hit on a ground ball over to first base. That was Blake Sable was given a hit as opposed to an error against Lipsius is on a ball he definitely should have been able to get 1 out on.
So a curveball by Batsman able to find the zone, but the second one runs in the dirt, so count as 1 ball and 1 strike on the right-handed hitting shortstop. The 1-1 is swung on and laced out to straightaway center, but right at the center fielder Gorski, and just like that, a 1-2-3 inning for the Mariners. However, they still trail in this ball game by a score of 2-0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back inside White House Field for the bottom half of the second inning as the Mariners trail to the Anglers 2-0. As it is the 4, 5, 6 hitters set to do work for the Mariners.
From the University of Virginia, number 25, Nate Eichhoff.
So Nate Eichhoff will step back in the batter's box after Norman was thrown out stealing. So Cal Hurt, after he scores first, and let's continue things here as Eichhoff swings at a first pitch in the dirt.
Eichhoff faced 5 pitches in his first plate appearance, I guess. Did not count as an at-bat, of course, since nothing was registered. As he steps back in for his second plate appearance in as many innings.
As the 0-1 runs inside just a bit on Eichhoff. Count evens back up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm not even sure it registers as a formal plate appearance either.
No, it doesn't. As the 1-1 Eichhoff fastball is located at the knees, but misses just a tad, so Eichhoff's ahead in the count, 2-1. The 2-1 Eichhoff. Curveball swung on and rolled over towards the second base side. McGee will field it and throw on to first for out number 1. As Eichhoff, the leadoff man, is retired here in the home half of the second inning.
Now batting for the Mariners, the shortstop, number 18, from the University of Maine, Danny Casals.
So with 1 away in the bottom half of the second inning, Danny Casals will step in from the right side. The red-hot Danny Casals, I should say, as the first pitch is swung on and missed. So after 2 runs scored by the Anglers in the top half of the second inning, Mariners scoreless in the first, looking to maybe chip in a little bit here as Casals will take a fastball down the dirt for a ball. Count is 1-1. Hart steps off for a second and will come back from the windup. The curveball just misses. Might have been just a bit high there to Casals. It's a good-looking breaking ball there from Hurt.
Over the last 4 games, even though he didn't get a hit versus Hyannis, he's still 6 for his last 17 of the plate.
As the 2-1 is lifted out towards the first base side, out of play.
He had 2 hits versus Katuitt, 2 big hits versus Orleans, an RBI double and a 2-run home run. And then 2 more hits versus Chatham.
It's a 2-2 swung on and missed. And Casals goes down on strikes at another good-looking breaking ball from Hurt there. So 2 outs
13,
here in the bottom half of the second inning.
From the University of Tennessee, Andre Lipsius.
So nobody on with 2 outs. Andre Lipsius will set to do battle from the right-handed batter's box. Lipsius out of Tennessee. First pitch curveball misses the bottom of the zone for a ball. Lipsius hit a home run back in Orleans, his first home run of the season. As a fastball runs up the zone again, he's ahead in the count 2-0. It was basically a hit parade back in Orleans when they won 10-8 on 17 hits and 11 innings as Tony Casals played the hero. As the 2-1 is spotted on the outside half of the plate.
Well, the hits specifically came in the 7th inning and later.
Just like that, it goes right back to the outside corner with another fastball. Evens it back up at 2-2.
Mariners had a few hits before that, but they scored their 2 runs in the 7th, 4 in the 8th, and then 2 more in the 11th.
As the 2-2 breaking ball bounces in the dirt, and Cat runs full on Lipsius. The 3-2 to Lipsius. Pitch is swung on. Off the end of the bat over towards third. Ramirez scoops it up, throws across the diamond. And Lipsius retired for out number 3. So a scoreless second inning for both sides as each pitcher picks up a 1-2-3 inning. However, the Anglers still lead this one by a score of 2-0. Listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the top half of the third inning. And the top order comes back around for the Anglers. It is John Rave who walked and scored back in the first after he advanced from first to third after the throwing error from the catcher. As he's coming around for the first run of the evening for the Anglers. They lead 2-0 on 2 hits and no errors. Mariners no hits, no runs, and 1 error. So Masson back on the hill for his third inning of work. He'll face against the left-hander John Rave, wearing number 3 for the Anglers, as the first pitch misses below the knees for a ball.
Mathewson had an outstanding second inning. He pitched just 7 pitches, retired the Chatham Anglers in order.
As the 1-0 is swung on a line down the first baseline, heading towards the corner as Gallen makes a dive to stop it as he makes a strong throw over towards second. However, sliding in is Rave. So the Anglers look to try to tack on some more here. After Rave, lines went down the first base line as Gallon dove to cut it off. Did a great job.
Ramirez.
It's a really good piece of hitting right down the line. There's really nothing Lipsius could have done trying to field that ball. Even if he had dove for it, he would have come up short. And it was an easy two-base hit for Rave.
So with man on second, bunt back towards Massanet, the pitcher's man. He'll throw on the first, and Ben Ramirez is retired. However, moves the runner over towards third. So the Anglers trying to play some small ball here.
Yeah, and that bunt by Ramirez, his
Number
speed
12,
is very
right
important
fielder
because
from Georgia
there was
Tech,
Matheson didn't even have time to look to third base to see if he would have had a play on John Rave. He wouldn't have, even though the bunt was right back to him. Rave was already more than halfway there by the time that Matheson had fielded that ball, but still, Ramirez made it even a close play over at first base.
So one out, and staying off at third is John Rave, just 90 feet away as the first pitch is popped up over towards the first base side. Lips is moving over to make the catch. Heading towards the on-deck circle as Mendoza moved out of his way. And there are quickly 2 outs here in the top half of the third inning.
On that last play, on that pop-up from English, it's a really important out for Matheson. Not only does it now mean that they can't trade an out with a run, but more importantly, English is one of the best hitters in this Chatham lineup. There's a reason he's in that number 3 hole, but recently he's been struggling. Dreyer was able to take care of him on Saturday. He was only 1 for 4 on Sunday, so now over the past 3 games, he's just 1 for his last 9 at the plate.
As Mendoza will dig in from the left side for the second time against Masson. He swings at the first pitch also and chops that one in the batter's box off himself.
And just to give you an idea, English's average was right around 410 on Saturday. It's all the way down to 360 tonight.
English has struggled just a bit here, as you have mentioned. He was the guy coming in that was really the heart of this Chatham lineup. As the 0-1 to Mendoza misses outside for a ball. Rave off of third base here. 2 outs in the top of the third inning. 2-0 Anglers lead. They look to tack on maybe another one here with Rave off a third, just 90 feet away from scoring position. As the 1-1 to Mendoza swung on and a pop fly over towards the left field, but it will find the hill over towards the batting cage area, and they'll do it again. So the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on the left-hander from Florida State. As his blue bat to match with the Chatham blue. As the pitch is swung on and missed, and Mendoza goes out on a strike. So Bastion really works himself out of jam after allowing the leadoff double to John Rave as the Anglers strand 1, but they still lead by a score of 2-0 after 2.5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
That? Three, 4, and 5 hitters coming up for the Harwich Mariners. It's Shunk, Eichhoff, and Casals. And the 3 of these guys are an interesting trio. Leading off is Rivera, right-hander. Gabe. Mason Meadows is 8th, and Matt Gorski is 9th. All of them are righties. Of who? Oh, what up, Matheson? Do you have any Matheson pictures? Would have been a great one. I used his headshot, so you have one of them. One of them.
And welcome back inside White House Field for the bottom half of the third inning. Mariners look to try to tack on maybe a run here as they trail 2-0. Leading off is Gabe Rivera as he takes a first pitch ball. Rivera in the designated hitter spot this evening. Played right field a bit this year as well as a fastball misses off the plate on the outside corner. Count is 2-0 on Rivera. The 2-0 pitch is swung on and missed. Took something off there, was hurt. So with nobody on, nobody out here in the bottom half of the third inning, 2-0 Anglers lead. Rivera waits the 2-1 pitch from Hurt. Pitches, bounces in the dirt, and nice scoop job by Sable behind the plate. As the count is 3-1 now on Rivera. The 3-1 is lifted out of play over towards the first base side. And the count will run full on Rivera. The 3-2 pitch. Pitch just misses inside, and Rivera will take his base over on first. So the Mariners will have the leadoff man on here. Only their second base runner tonight.
Number 31,
Norman was the other man with the hit by pitch.
Mason.
Gabe Rivera just drew his second walk of the season in 44 plate appearances. He's not somebody who's going to do that all that frequently, but he draws a walk here.
As Mason Meadows, the catcher in the 8-hole. With Rivera off of first and nobody out, he'll take a fastball at the knees. A little bit of displeased, but
Meadows looking to turn things around at the plate.
the 0-1 pitch is spotted on the inside corner for a strike. And Hurts ahead of the count, 0-2.
Had a nice play defensively back in the top half of the second inning, throwing out a runner. Looks to transfer that over to the plate.
The 0-2 pitch. This is outside for a ball as the fastball looking to spot it low and outside, but just missed. As Rivera's off of first here with nobody out here in the bottom of third. 2-0 Anglers lead. Mariners still searching for their first base hit. The 1-2. Off speed misses low and away again as Meadows taking a tough couple pitches here. Count even at 2-2 on the right-hander from Georgia. Hurt comes set from the belt. The 2-2 is swung on and chopped over toward the third base. His coaching box there, and we'll find the bullpen area. As they do it again at 2-2. Wind blowing just a little bit more over towards the left center side now. Still blowing a little bit more towards the left and not really out. As the winds off the ocean continue to change. Here is the 2-2. Misses upstairs as a throwdown from the catcher. Sable goes just a bit to the right, but Bush is able to come off the bag, and that was Rivera's caught over there, maybe sleeping a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a risky throw by Sable. I'm not sure Bush was all that ready for it, but he sure seemed so, I guess, after he made a nice play going over to his right.
As the 3-2 misses up in the zone, and a great at-bat there from Meadows as he works his way towards first after a walk. He was down 0-2 in the count and works all the way back to full.
Yeah, very impressive at-bat from Meadows. After a 6-pitch at-bat to Rivera, Meadows does an outstanding job drawing a walk on a 7-pitch at-bat of his own. So really working the pitcher, Kyle Hurt, as back-to-back walks drawn by Meadows.
As now is back-to-back walks to go against Hurt. Stepping in is the right-handed hitter out of Indiana, Matt Gorski. Takes a first pitch fastball at the knees for a strike.
As we take a look around Cape Cod at the scoreboard, 10-4 YD over Brewster in the top of the 5th. 2-0 Wareham over Katuitt in the bottom of the 6th inning.
As the 0-1 is swung on and fouled back into the screen.
In the bottom of the 3rd, the Bourne Braves are blanking the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 3-0, and the Falmouth Commodores and Orleans Firebirds are yet to start. It's the pregame there in Orleans.
So 2 men on with nobody out, 0-2 count on Gorski. The pitch from Hurt. Pitch bounced in the dirt, a great stop by Sable. That one bounced maybe a foot or two short of the plate, and it was a fastball. Able to move the body over towards the right side and keep those runners from advancing another 90 feet. The 1-2 pitch is swung on a line over in between the hole between 2nd and 3rd. And holding up at 3rd is Rivera, so they'll go station-to-station baseball now as the bases are loaded for the Mariners here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning.
It's a nice piece of hitting from Matt Gorski. Gets in front of that ball and pulls it between shortstop and 3rd for a base hit. And I think it's a good decision by Coach Pascarosa to hold up Rivera over at 3rd base. There's a good chance he could have scored. I don't think the throw from left field from Simpson was outstanding. But then again, you don't want to run yourself into any outs when you have no outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. You're down by a couple of runs. You need base runners. You need RBIs. And I think it's the time right now to hold up the runners. Don't be too you want to be more conservative in the situation.
As the first pitch curveball gets away from Sable, will be able to get his body enough of it.
It trickled away from him. I thought that Rivera may try there, but again, I think the Mariners are still trying to be more conservative with their base runners.
Especially when you have the top of the order due up.
And Hurt, he struggled a little bit with his control recently, especially. Not only we've seen the 2 walks, we see the wild pitch right there, although it doesn't advance any runners. And overall, he has 23 strikes thrown tonight, 22 balls, basically a 1-to-1 ratio. As a pitcher, you want to have at least a 1.5-to-1 ratio in strikes to balls, or 2-to-1 would be even better. But when you have basically the same number of strikes and balls, it will show that you are struggling to find the plate.
So after the pitching coach for Chatham came out to talk things over with her, Gallen will step back in from the right side. Bases are loaded, nobody out here in the bottom of 3rd. Mariners trail 2-0 to the Anglers. As the 1-0 pitch misses again for a ball below the knees. Count is 2-0 on Gallen.
And if I'm Chris Gallen in this situation, I'm going to make Kyle Hurt throw me a strike. Maybe even make him throw me 2 strikes. Because as I mentioned earlier, he's struggling to find the zone. I want him to prove to me that he can throw me some strikes. Otherwise, I'm going to take the free base.
He's also put himself in a fastball count. As the fastball is on the outside corner at the letters for a strike. 2-1 on Gallen now. As the catcher Sable is looking to throw down towards first, as Gorski off to a big lead there since the first baseman Bush is not holding him on. He's in line with him. The 2-1. Pitch is low and outside for a ball. 3-1 on the speedster from Boston College. The 3-1 to Gallen. The pitch is at the knees on the outside corner. Gallen thought he had to walk there ready to toss the bat, but not so fast, said the home plate umpire Michael Finn. So the count runs full on Gallen. Bases loaded, nobody out. Mariners trail 2-0. The payoff pitch swung on and a high hit ball over towards the left field corner. It may have a chance. And it's off the wall over in left field. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in. And just like that, the Mariners have tied this game up. After it looked like it might have one-hopped the wall, and it was a hard hit ball tailing over towards the left field corner. We didn't have a good vantage point from here since we're not on our broadcast booth tonight, but
yeah, I wasn't sure if that ball had a chance. I thought that it may have had an opportunity to get out of the ballpark, but as you mentioned, I think it one-hopped the wall. Really good piece of hitting from Chris Gallen, the right-handed hitter, who was easily into second with a double, and they end up holding Gorski at third base. And again, it's because they don't want to run themselves into any outs right now. They still have nobody out. They have an opportunity to trade a couple of runs with an out, so they do this. They play this the right way.
As a first pitch fastball bounce in the dirt to Ben Norman. Not only do they have a chance to tie this game, but take the lead.
And they have the top of the lineup up as well with Chris Gallen, the leadoff man on second, and it's Ben Norman followed by Shunk, Eichhoff, and Casals.
As the 1-0 pitch to left-hander Norman bounces in the dirt again as it's right below the knees of Sable, and holding the stop sign at home plate is Ben Norman. So count is 2 balls and no strikes on the left-hander from Iowa. Norman looking to come in a big RBI spot here for the Mariners. This game is tied at 2 as he takes a fastball at the belt on the outside half of the plate for a strike. 2-1 the count on Norman now. Hurd comes set. The 2-1 pitch is cut on and missed. A pitch that was elevated in the zone. As count evens back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes here with nobody out. Runners on second and third after the 2 RBI double from Chris Gallen has tied this game up at 2.
And again, when you have a hard fastball like that from someone like Hurt, and it's a fastball upstairs, hitters will oftentimes almost seem like it is actually rising and going up and out of the zone.
That's a 2-2 curveball. Swung on and popped up over towards just below third base. Having trouble as it will, looks like it'll bounce in for a base hit. And a run will come around as Gorski with his speed. It was a tough fly ball. It was just over the shortstop's area, third base area. And Arenas was twisting and turning, just couldn't find it. Left fielder Simpson came in as well, but no one was able to make the catch.
Yeah, that's poor communication out there in shallow left field by the Chatham Anglers outfield, and Arenas along with Ramirez. I think that's left fielder's ball when it's in shallow left field. He's the one who's coming in. He's got momentum coming in. It's much harder to make the play when you're trying to go back, almost making an over-the-shoulder type catch in the shoes of Arenas. So if you're Simpson on that play, I think you want to be calling him off. Call off the shortstop Arenas and make the catch yourself.
It was a tough play. It's almost a no-man's land over there. It's a long run for left fielder and just a tough play for the shortstop as Shunk will swing at the first pitch and foul it back into the screen for strike 1. So Mariners now lead this game by a score of 3-2.
Gallen was unable to advance to third base, though, so still just 1 runner in scoring position.
As pitch runs low and outside for a ball. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. So the runner in second, 1 out. The 1-1 pitch runs up and out of the zone for a ball on the third baseman Shunk. Count is 2-1 now. So Mariners have put 3 runs across this half inning after Chatham started the game with 2 runs. As the 2-1 is swung on and lined over towards the left field corner. Gallen being waved down home by Coach Pascarosa, and he'll score. And sliding in is Aaron Shunk as he actually slid just over the base, able to reapply his foot as the throw came in. So a 1-out RBI double for Aaron Shunk.
Yeah, really good piece of hitting there from Shunk. Easily able to come in and score was Chris Gallen. The Mariners' offense is clicking in the bottom half of the third inning. It's hit after hit after hit, and Shunk just continues the hit parade.
And actually, in that last at-bat by Norman, we thought it dropped, but it was actually caught.
You got a tough view down the third base line here with the chain link fence. It's an awfully tough view. I have to say I totally agreed with you, Thomas. I thought it dropped, but again, we don't have a great view from here on the third base side, excuse me.
As a first pitch fastball is on the inside corner to Eichhoff. Not an unusual spot this evening as the game is being televised on Fox Sports.
We're normally up in the press box.
Got a nice little vantage points from that one, but A little tough.
It's a perfect view up there in the press box. See every side of the field perfectly, but on days like tonight, you don't get that.
As the 0-1 Eichhoff has swung on and missed, count is 0-2 now. So one out here in the bottom half of the third. Kyle Hurt, the pitcher for the Anglers, has kind of run into a lull here, as 4 runs have crossed the plate in this inning alone. As the left hitter begins to warm in the Chatham bullpen. The 0-2 to Eichhoff. Pitch is swung on and missed, and Eichhoff goes down swinging. So Hurt picks up the second out of this inning. It looks like Jeff Belge out of St. John's is warming in the Chatham bullpen.
Yeah, Jeff Belge has been a tag team pitcher with Kyle Hurt. Every game that Hurt has started, Belge has come in and followed up. So they've all pitched in the versus YD on June 13th, at Wareham on June 19th, and then versus Falmouth on the 26th.
As the first pitch to Casals misses down in the zone for a ball. So 2 outs here, runner on second. We've seen quite a amount of Big East guys. He's teammates with Joe LaSource. Ricky DeVito out of Seton Hall is also on the Mariners roster. Sean Mooney played for Orleans out of St. John's. As the 1-0 fastball runs out of the zone for a ball, count is 2-0.
And the other interesting thing about both these pitchers is each of them has thrown exactly 4 innings of work in each appearance. So maybe we will see Hurt return to the mound in the bottom of the fourth, but it's definitely not for certain.
As the 2-0 swung on and fouled back into the screen behind home plate. As the ball boy for Harwich will make his exercise for the evening, running back and forth to retrieve the balls that fell back into the screen. So 2-1 the count on Casals, 2 outs, Shunk off a second. The 2-1 pitch is swung on and chopped just over the pitcher, over towards shortstop. Arenas fields it, sets his feet, throw on to first. And Casals is retired for out number 3, but not before the Mariners score 4 in the bottom of the third. Then they'll lead this one by a score of 4-2. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Off the top of the 4th inning.
Welcome back to White House Field in the top half of the 4th inning. Harwich Mariners on top of the Chatham Anglers 4-2. Mariners put up a 4 spot in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Austin Rooney alongside Liam. And Liam, Flaherty, happy to have you on the booth.
Yeah, happy to be here.
As the first pitch runs upstairs. As Sable steps into the left-hander's batter's box for the Chatham Anglers. Matheson back out on the mound for the top of the 4th. The 1-0 pitch cut on and popped up, fouling out a play behind home plate. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-handed hitter.
Yeah, Matheson's looked pretty clean since his first inning. Got out of a jam in the second, but ever since then he's been wheeling and dealing on the hill. So let's see if he can keep it going here with a lead now.
1-1 pitch Clips the outside corner. Count goes to 1-2. You mentioned the tough first inning for Matheson. He threw a little over 20 pitches. In the second, just 7 pitches. And the third was a very strong inning for him as well. So as he enters the fourth inning, he's under 40 pitches. It's the 1-2 pitch, misses low, count 2-2.
Yeah, the Mariners' bats finally got going there in the third, after a pretty slow first 2 innings. So now he's got some insurance up there, see what he can do with it.
The 2-2 offering, breaking ball, line drive into left center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Sable rounds first. He's headed into second base, and he rounds second, and he's going to pull on the brakes. It's a 2-out double to left center field between Norman and Gorski, and there's no out still in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, that was roped out there.
A really good piece of hitting from Blake Sable. And stepping in
Number
is
10, the left fielder
Colin
from
Simpson, the
Oklahoma
left-handed
State,
hitter.
Colin Simpson.
Matheson overcame a leadoff double in the top of the third. See if he can do it here, too.
Now, Simpson's an interesting case out of Oklahoma State. He hit 18 homers this past year as a junior, went undrafted. First pitch misses upstairs and outside, count 1-0. But not only did he go undrafted, but with 18 home runs and a 960 OPS, which is some of the best numbers in college baseball. But now that he's arrived on Cape Cod, he's started to struggle. He's only 4 for his last 36 at the plate. The 1-0 pitch misses upstairs and outside, count 2-0. Runner on second base, no outs. Top of the fourth inning, a 4-2 Harwich Mariners lead from White House Field. As the home plate umpire looking for a couple extra balls, I think, behind home plate. They waited for the ball boy to pass as the 6-hitter, Colin Simpson, steps back in. 2-0 pitch, cut on and fouled off. Count goes to 2-1. Runner on second base, still no outs in the top of the fourth inning. 2-1 pitch, cut on, a high fly ball into shallow right center field. Coming on is the center fielder, Gorski, who makes the catch but then drops it. Let's see what the call is going to be, and they call him out. I think that's the right call. He dropped it on the transfer between the catch and the throw. I definitely think that's the right call out in center field.
Yeah, it looked like he had a chance to double the runner up on second, but I think just trying to make that transition a little too quick, just fumbled it. Had it long enough to get the out, but missed the opportunity to double the guy up at second.
So now there's 1 out in the top of the fourth inning. Sable leads off of second base. And stepping into the left-hander's batter's box is Michael Bush out of UNC. First pitch, fastball right down the middle for strike 1. Bush was quite good this past season at UNC as the 0-1 pitch runs inside and the count goes to 1-1 strike on the left-handed hitter. Out of Chapel Hill. Had a .317 batting average and 13 home runs as the 1-1 pitch is low into the dirt, gets away from Meadows, but he quickly gets up to field the ball and holds Sable over at second. So there's 1 out in the top of the fourth, 2-1 count on the left-handed hitter, Michael Bush. 4-2 Mariners lead. Austin Rooney alongside Liam Flaherty from White House Field. 2-1 pitch, cut on a ground ball down the first base line. Thomas is up in the booth with the Fox College Sports crew, which is the reason we don't have video. Due to legal reasons, we cannot stream the video while Fox is here as well. If you have the Fox College Sports package, you can check that out over there on your television set. I will be up there next half inning, so you'll be joined back by Thomas for the bottom half of the fourth inning. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Michael Bush. The 2-2 delivery, cut on a high chopper over towards the second baseman, Eichhoff. He'll field and throw to first for the second out, but advancing over to third is Blake Sable. So a runner on third with 2 outs in the top of the fourth for the Chatham Anglers. As Ashton McGee steps in from the left side. It's left-hander after left-hander in this Chatham Anglers batting order. McGee is 1 for 7 so far on Cape Cod. First pitch misses upstairs and outside for ball 1.
Yeah, this is big for Matheson here. If he can register this last out and get the Mariners bats back to the plate, they finally got some life. See if they can build on it real quick if he can get this out.
The 1-0 pitch misses just upstairs, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. And you're exactly right. Not only do the Mariners have a lead, but as you mentioned, he's pitching well as of late. The second and third inning were strong. If he can work out of this bit of a jam here in the top of the fourth inning, it will help him moving forward in his outing. The 2-0 pitch clips the inside corner with a fastball, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. He's just over 50 pitches, so if he's going 65, maybe if he's in the 80 to 85, it's not quite clear how many pitches he's supposed to throw tonight. The 2-1 pitch, a breaking ball upstairs, count 3-1. If he's in that 85 range, we could see him go 5, 6, 7 innings. 65 range, we could see him at least go 5. So again, because of his lower pitch count, you're exactly right. If he can get out of this, he can hopefully move this forward until the 5th and the 6th. 3-1 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed. Count goes full at 3 balls and 2 strikes on Ashton McGee. Sable leads off third base with 2 outs at the top of the fourth. 4-2 Mariners lead from White House Field. As McGee waves his bat a couple of times. 3-2 pitch, breaking ball. Ooh, just upstairs. You could tell Matheson wanted that pitch. I thought it was awfully close.
Yeah, breaking ball came in a little high. Tough call, but runners on first and third now with 2 down.
Number 49, the shortstop.
And stepping into the
from
right-hander's
Stetson,
batter's box is Jorge Arenas. He's 1 for 7 on the day, or excuse me, is 0 for 1 on the day. He's 4 for 28, has the same batting average as McGee does, both at 143. First pitch to the right-handed hitter, misses outside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. So McGee leads off of first, Sable off of third, 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. Mariners put up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 3rd. There are 2 runs scored from Chatham in the top of the 1st. 1-0 pitch, cut on and missed with a cutter. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. I spoke to Matheson about that cutter on the podcast that was posted yesterday for Mariners Monday, and he was telling me he's throwing it just like that fastball, but it's got a little bit of movement off to the side at the last moment, and you saw it right there, tailing just off the plate, fooling the hitter. 1-1 pitch, cut on and miss. Looked like a breaking ball there, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Little off-speed action there. With Arenas being the number 9 hitter in the order, Matheson really wants to get this out. Doesn't want to load the bases or anything like that. Get the top of the order here for the Anglers. It's a big pitch coming up for him.
Especially against him with his 143 average. The 1-2 pitch misses upstairs, throw down a second, and now they're throwing back to the plate, and it's in time!
Nice play.
Great play by Meadows. He threw down a second when the runner was going, and back at second they threw to home, and they get the runner Sable on the double steal attempt and the delayed steal attempt, and after 3.5 innings of play, it is the Harwich Mariners 4 and the Chatham Anglers 2. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And welcome back inside White House Field for the home half of the 4th inning. And what was a nice way to end the top half. No runs came across after the leadoff double from Sable as he's stranded at third. Actually gets thrown out at home after running towards second was Ashton McGee, and Eichhoff cut it off and threw towards home and able to nail him behind the plate. However, new pitcher on the mound for the Anglers is Jeff Belge out of St. John's, making his 4th appearance. He has 1 start of the season with 12 innings pitched, 9 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 5 walks, and 16 strikeouts in just 12 innings of work. So 4-2 ball game in favor of Harwich here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Lipsius will take a swing at the first pitch and foul it off. Nobody on, nobody out here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Fastball runs up and in on Lipsius. Counting back at 1 ball and 1 strike. Mayor scored 4 runs in the 3rd. As the 1-1 is lifted out of play on the first base side. Where's our fellow partner Austin Rooney heads up into the booth to do the Fox Sports. I'm joined by Liam Flaherty. As the 1-2 is off the end of the bat and will drop in for a base hit into center field. So the Bears look to tack on some more runs here in the bottom of the 4th. A leadoff single by Lipsius. He's on base the first time this evening.
Yeah, that's a good sign there from Lipsius, get on in the leadoff spot there. After the Mariners jumped on for 4 runs in the 3rd, they finally got something going. Chatham changes their pitcher, and it's good to see that Lipsius connects for a good solid contact there to get on first to lead off.
That's always more important as Blake Sable will readjust his leg guards. As a fellow catcher, not something more annoying ever than losing one of those straps to come undone or maybe even fall off. I mean,
oh yeah.
And then just to see the, all eyes are watching you now as you try to, fix whatever's wrong with your catcher's gear. And
those hooks, gotta fiddle with those nonstop, especially the cross. Some people go cross. I usually go straight away. I used to the knee guards as well. But I mean, it's just a lot going on. Oh yeah, he's taking his time out there too.
Something must have popped off.
Oh yeah.
All things are set though. Housekeeping's done. So Lipsius off of first. They have to lead off single. And stepping in now is Gabe Rivera, the designated hitter out of Miami. There's 4-2 Mariners lead. Left-hander Belge fires a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 Rivera is at the knees for a strike. As quickly ahead as Jeff Belge now. And no balls and 2 strikes on the right-hander Rivera. As the 0-2 runs up and in on Rivera as he dances out. As Rivera will step back in from the right-hander's batter's box. Lipsius off the first. Lefty-righty matchup. Belge kicks and deals. Pitches swung on and missed. And Rivera goes down on a strike. Says there are 2 outs. There should be 1 out now in the home half of the 4th inning. 4-2 Mariners lead.
The catcher from the University of Georgia, Mason Meadows.
So with 1 out, Lipsius still on first. Scoreboard goes as 2 runs on 4 hits and no errors for the Anglers. 4 runs on 4 hits and 1 error for the Mariners. Mason Meadows will dig in from the right side. The first pitch is cut on and missed.
Yeah, Meadows drew one of those, one of the 2 crucial walks to start the rally in the 3rd inning. Him and Rivera, but Rivera goes down on strikes right there. We'll see Meadows can make some good contact here.
Worked a brilliant at bat after being on 0-2. Works it all the way to full count. Fouled off maybe a pitch or 2, and able to really get things going. As it is 1-1 on Meadows now. Bells looks over towards first side. Lipsius pitches swung on and chopped back towards home plate. So we'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right-hander catcher out of Georgia. Counters 1-2 on Meadows. Lipsius over at first after his leadoff single. Rivera struck out, and Meadows is up at the plate now as he hits one in on the hands over towards first base side, bouncing over, and looks like in time, and he is retired. So Meadows, after he kind of got jammed on the hands and kind of ended up in no man's land just past the pitcher's mound between first and second. However, a flip play over towards first, he's out in time. I don't even know who fielded it and who covered the base. That's how obscure it was. There's about 5 guys in on the ball.
Yeah, it was so softly hit that it, with 1 out, it allowed Lipsius to get over to second. Now you got Gorski coming up the bat. He's already got a hit on the night. 2 outs. This would be a great spot for Gorski to knock one into a gap and just bring another run, make it 5-2. Give Matheson a little more insurance on the hill coming back.
So it's now the 9-hole hitter, Matt Gorski, set to do work from the right side. Swing the first pitch, lines it out over towards shallow right field, dropping a base hit, rounding around home. The throw towards home plate is not in time as it gets past the catcher, Sable. So Lipsius scores as rounding second towards third now. However, halt up right in between second and third is Gorski. Will retreat back to second base, but nothing like an RBI double for Matt Gorski to put the Mariners ahead now by a score of 5-2.
Just like that, insurance runs. Crucial.
Especially with the Mariners, the way they've been pitching this year, you got to think, just give them 5-6 runs, then the rest will go as way as Chris Gallen will now dig in from the right side. The speedster out of Boston College.
Get back to the top of the order here. He already has a 2 RBI double on his resume for the night.
You got things going for the Mariners. Put them on the board back in the third, as you just said before, as a first pitch fastball runs inside for a ball. Yeah, actually, I wrote down Gallen's RBI double in the 4th inning, last inning. So now, I got to hope he gets another RBI double because my scorebook would be very messed up then. As the 1-0 to Gallen is at the knees for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike on the right-hander. The 1-1 to Gallen. Pitch runs inside as he backs off a bit here. Counters 2-1 now on the right fielder. Could be a center fielder. Let's say last half inning, and all 3 guys on the outfield tonight could be center fielders. They have so much speed on the outfield with Gorski playing center, Gallen on right as he fouls that one off himself.
Like you said, the speed in the outfield really just helps the Harvest pitchers on the hill quite consistently, tracking down balls, covering a lot around range out there, and really just getting the outs, the tough outs on hard hit balls. It's been a pretty big backbone for the rotation so far this year.
Especially we got guys that can travel. You're saying before, just will cover a lot of ground. Pitching. If I was a pitcher on the mound, I'd be like, I'd rather pitch to contact. Not just pitch for strikeouts. I think that's what, some guys just try to do sometimes. There's some guys who got the swing and miss stuff, and some guys, they pitch for contact, and, maybe more like sinker ball pitchers. I don't know if we have any on this team, which I don't think we do, but just, fly ball guys like that, they would love to have a speedy outfield like that. As the 2-2 is rolled over and chopped foul. Count remains 2-2. On a Gallen with 2 outs here. Runner on second base. 1 run already across this half inning. The Mariners lead the Anglers now by a score of 5-2. The 2-2 pitch. Swung over and shot back towards the pitcher Bell. He'll take his time, set his feet. They're on the first. And Gallen was retired for out number 3, but not before the Mariners get back another run here in the bottom of the fourth inning. After 4 innings, lead by a score of 5-2. Liam, thanks for joining us this inning of color commentary, and we'll see Austin and I back next inning.
Thomas, thank you.
You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Welcome back inside White House Field as the Harwich Mariners lead the Chatham Anglers 5-2. New pitcher on the mound for the Harwich Mariners is Joe LaSorsa. As the first pitch to Arenas is cut on and fouled off out of play down the first base side. Oh, check that, back in play, and Lipsius almost makes the catch on that ball, but it deflects off of his glove. It was a high pop-up, and it looked for sure to me like it was going out of play down the right field side, but snuck back in there. But Lipsius unable to make the play nonetheless. So count, no balls and 1 strike on Arenas. Mariners lead this game 5-2 in the top of the 5th. 0-1 from LaSorsa is cut on, a high fly ball down the first base line, and it's going to be into right field for a base hit. And so after Lipsius was unable to make the play down the first
unfortunately, fly down the first base line, unable to make the catch, and then next thing you know, base runners out with a single.
Urged over by the dugout, but no one was able to make the catch. The following pitch, a base hit, and Oregon State went on to win that game and win the series the following day as the 0-1 pitch. Fastball in there for strike 2. Count, no balls and 2 strikes.
You know, probably live in infamy, that poor second baseman. It always sucks to be on the wrong side of things. Like Billy Buckner.
0-2 pitch, misses, and the count 1-2. Rabe's an interesting player in that leadoff spot for the Chatham Anglers. He's a guy who strikes out or walks in pitch. Misses low in the dirt, gets by Meadows, advancing to second base. Second with nobody out in the top of the 5th. He has 21 strikeouts in the season. He's also drawn 15 walks. And that's of his 73 plate appearances this season. Just about 49% of all bats have ended in a walk or a strikeout as the 2-2 pitch is hit high in the air, deep center field. It gets over the head of the center fielder, Gorski. Rounding third and scoring is Arenas, and now headed into third base is Rave. It's a triple and an RBI from Rave, and it's now a 5-3 game.
Yeah, almost like heading to the third there. Eichhoff just couldn't get the transfer out on the cutoff, and they could have had him. Looks like they might have had him in time, but Eichhoff just on the transfer just fell out of his glove a little bit there, and cruising in the third base was Rave, especially with his speed.
So rough start to the outing from Joe LaSorsa, who was yet to allow a run on Cape Cod, as the first pitch in there for a strike on Ben Ramirez. A 1, cut on, line drive down the first base line for a base hit. Past the outstretched glove of the first baseman, Lipsius. 1 run comes around and scores, and it's an RBI single from Ben Ramirez. And it is a 5-4 game. All of a sudden, a couple of runs come home off the bats of Chatham Anglers with 3 consecutive hits. Joe LaSorsa's run himself into some trouble.
Yeah, just, you know, tonight, even the Chatham bats were just able to jump all over him. Boy, LaSorsa's a guy that was very tough to hit this year out of the bullpen. I mean, against Orleans, he pitched fairly well, and then it was against Bourne in the combined no-hitter. He was basically unhittable.
And the first pitch misses inside to Tristan English, and it doesn't get any easier for him either as the 3, 4, and 5 hitters come up for the Chatham Anglers. English, Mendoza, and Sable. English 0 for 1, but he scored a run as the 1-0 pitch misses outside, count 2-0. Mendoza's 1 for 2 with an RBI, and Sable is 2 for 2. So English taps home plate once. Ramirez leads off of first base, no outs, and the 2-0 pitch is a sharp grounder over to second. Eichhoff fields, flip to second for 1, back on to first, the double play. 4-6-3 for a quick 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning and a much-needed 2 outs.
And Tristan English continues to struggle at the plate. He's now 0 for 3 in this game, including a pop.
A 1 pitch. Fastball in the lower part of the zone. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. We haven't talked about Matheson much, though, as his outing is done. He threw 4 innings of work, allowed 4 hits, 2 earned runs, although there was a bit of a sketchy call back in the top half of the first inning as the 0-2 pitch misses. And then 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. I thought there might have been a chance that he 1 earned run as opposed to 2, but he's charged with 2 nonetheless. As the 1-2 pitch, motion down to third, and they say he goes around, so a strikeout to Mendoza, and that'll do it for the top of the 5th inning. We're halfway done at White House Field. The Chatham Anglers strike twice in the top of the 5th, but the Mariners still lead this one 5-4. Bottom half of the 5th inning from White House Field as the Harwich Mariners lead the Chatham Anglers 5-4. as Ben Norman steps in from the left side. Norman is yet to actually have an at-bat. He's had 2 plate appearances as the first pitch misses low and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Norman had a sacrifice pop out basically over to shortstop back in the 3rd inning. You don't see those all that frequently, but it was a pop out into shallow left field caught by the shortstop. 1-0 pitch. Misses outside, count 2-0. And then he also was hit by a pitch back in the 1st. So neither of those count as at-bats. Both count as plate appearances. That's a 2-0 pitch. Misses low, count 3 balls and no strikes from left-handed hitter Ben Norman. Both of those affect your on-base percentage. Neither of them affect your batting average. On-base percentage goes up for a hit by pitch. It goes down for a sac fly. Sac fly does not affect your batting average. One of those interesting quirks of the on-base percentage statistic. As a 3-0 pitch clips the outside corner for strike 1, count 3-1. Base path's empty, bottom half of the 5th inning. 3-1 pitch, cut on a chopper over towards second base. Fielded and throwing to first. It's in time, beat him by a half step. Nice play by McGee, charging in on that ball, then throwing across the body to first to get the out. There's 1 away in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Mariners lead in this game 5-4 as Aaron Shunk steps into the right-hander's batter's box and digs his back foot in.
That was a tough play by McGee. It was also a broken bat, I think, by Norman, so made it just a little bit tougher. As McGee had a charge, and you said before, threw across the body. Especially with the speed of Norman as well. It's a really tough play, and he made it look easy.
First pitch to Shunk, in there for strike 1. Count no balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter. Shunk 1 for 2 on the evening, had a base hit back in the 3rd inning. RBI single as the 0-1 pitch also paints the outside corner. Count no balls and 2 strikes. The 0-2 delivery, cut on a miss, fastball, and Shunk swings right through it, and they're 2 away in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
And with the game now within a 1-run reach from the Anglers, you would hope that the Anglers can either hold on to this lead or 2 score some more runs.
And we mentioned earlier, in games when the Mariners score, they score in bunches, and they've scored a lot here tonight. As the first pitch is on the outside corner to Nate Eichhoff, count 0-1. A 1 pitch, fastball cut on and missed from Eichhoff. Count no balls and 2 strikes. Eichhoff swings right under a fastball from Belge. And so far tonight, Belge has been decent. He allowed the 1 run back in the bottom half of the 4th inning. As the 0-2 pitch, cut on and missed again. Another fastball up and out of the zone, and Eichhoff goes down swing. At the end of 5 innings of play, it's the Harwich Mariners 5 and the Chatham Anglers 4. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top half of the 6th inning from White House Field, a 5-4 Harwich Mariners lead. As Blake Sable steps in from the left side. First pitch from Lasorsa, cut on and fouled off out of play. Count 0-1 to the left-handed hitter. Mariners scored 4 runs in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Tacked down another run in the bottom of the 4th. That gave them the 5-2 lead, but Chatham responded with 2 of their own in the top of the 5th and cut the Mariners lead to 5-4. 0-1 pitch. Fastball. Foul chip into the mitt of the catcher Meadows, and the count no balls and 2 strikes.
It's an interesting feel from broadcasting down here on the third base side. Kind of like a little bit better, honestly, than up in the booth.
You can't see anything down the left field line as the 0-2 pitch misses low, count 1-2.
No, I don't mind much about that. I mean, you might falter a call or 2, but I think you get more of the ballpark feeling, and you feel more at the game than up in the booth.
1-2 pitch misses low. Now, I understand what you're saying there, but I can't agree with you. I think that the ability to be able to see the entire field from up top is way better than the on-the-field sort of feel as the 2-2 pitch misses low, count 3-2. It's a packed ballpark at White House Field tonight. This is the most packed I've seen it by a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more crowded games this year at White House. You saw over 2,000.
3-2 pitch, slow ground ball over to short. Casales fields it with a bare hand and can't come up with it. He tried to field it with a bare hand and it went in and out of it. This runner on first base with no outs. Top of the 6th inning. Mariners lead this game 5-4 as Chatham leads off with a single. Not a traditional hard hit single. It was about as slowly hit as you could possibly hit a baseball over towards shortstop.
The left fielder from Oklahoma State, Colin Simpson.
So Sable is on for the 3rd time tonight. And Colin Simpson steps into the left-hander's batter's box, lays a bunt down the 3rd base line, fielded by the 3rd baseman Shunk, but he throws it into center field. And there are runners on 2nd and 3rd. And now coming home, the throw to the plate is in time. They get him. Great throw by Gorski, so there's 1 out. And a runner on 2nd base in the top of the 6th inning. And the funny thing is, it ends up the same way that the Chatham Anglers were hoping the at-bat would end, with a runner on 2nd base and 1 out. So it was a bunt down the 3rd baseline. Shunk fielded it. He threw it into center field as he was looking to get the lead out at 2nd. He had charged the ball nicely. But after that, Sable went to 3rd base. 3rd base coach told him, go home. And he did, but an outstanding throw from Gorski was in time to get him.
The first baseman, Michael Bush.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a great play there by Gorski on in center field. He, as you said before, he stumbled upon the ball just for a second. 3rd base coach was like, hey, we'll send Sable around. They end up sending Sable around, and he's able to be cut off at home plate. So Gorski with a great throw. I mean, anything I think wide towards the first base side, even more left, would not have gotten him. So he threw it perfectly exactly where he needed to. Now he's just, just in front of the left-hander's batter's box. So when Sable's coming around, Meadows did a great job applying the tag as well. And then there was also great awareness after the play, as Simpson was on 2nd. No one was covering 3rd. So about Shunk, Lasorce, and I think another player in hand to start running towards 3rd base to cover it. So, I think a great awareness all around on the Mariners team.
And Coach Steve Engler heads out to the mound. Looks like a strategic meeting with his pitcher Lasorsa, the rest of the infielders, and his catcher Meadows. As there will be no pitching change made as Engler trots back to the dugout. So the 7-hitter, Michael Bush, steps foot in the left side.
It's also another important meeting for Angler those sources as well. They've been a big play right there. All the guys are hyped up. But there's still a task at hand. Runner on 2nd with 1 out. Tying run on 2nd, too.
First pitch misses low to Bush. He had 13 home runs this past year at UNC, a .317 batting average. 63 RBIs and an OPS near 1,000. So Bush was fantastic at UNC. 1-0 pitch, high fly ball down the left field line. Gallen had it back to the track, to the wall. You can say goodbye, a 2-run home run off the bat of Michael Bush. And the Chatham Anglers jump on top, 6-5.
And Bush is making his name known already in his first Cape League game this evening. Was just activated today by the Anglers and sends a moonshot over the right field wall. I mean, this guy had 13 home runs back at UNC, had drove in 63 RBIs. So he's not your typical 7-hole hitter. And especially adjusting the Cape League and the wood bats as well. Quick adjustment for Bush. He just sends that one over the right field fence.
A really nice hit off the bat of Michael Bush as he hit it. It was a really high fly ball to left field. We haven't seen, not necessarily a ton of power specifically, but just kept on carrying out towards right field as Rankin Woolley pinch hits. He's going to come in the game for Ashton McGee.
We saw Woolley on Saturday's matchup in Chatham.
Woolley out of Chattahoochee Valley Community College as first pitch misses for ball one. He's been now at 3 colleges in the course of 3 years. 1-0 pitch swung on, line drive down the right field side for a base hit. Fielded out in right is Chris Gallen as he tosses over to second base. And a 1-out single for Woolley as the Chatham Anglers now lead this game 6-5 in the top half of the 6th inning. And Woolley, as I mentioned, 3 colleges in 3 years, LSU to Chattahoochee Valley Community College to Auburn next season. He had a .460 batting average at the community college, 1282 OPS, 93 RBIs, and 11 home runs. He was nothing short of outstanding as the first pitch in there for a strike on the outside corner to Jorge Arenas. So a 2-run home run off the bat of Bush has given the Chatham Anglers a 1-run lead, and now the 0-1 pitch is swung on and lined into right field for a base hit off the bat of Arenas. So the runner's on first and second with 1 out, and La Sorsa just has not really had it tonight.
It definitely, some pitches left over the heart of the plate, and, this isn't the Joe La Sorsa we're used to, and some guys have done all their stuff on nights like this. Chatham has actually struck now 11 hits on the evening and 6 runs. Mariners only had 5 hits and 5 runs. So interesting there that the Mariners have almost, half the amount of hits, but yet they put up 5 runs. That's also a good sign for the Mariners as well, as they're collecting hits together.
First pitch misses low and in the dirt to the leadoff hitter, John Rave. Warming up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen is Tom Sutera. Sutera has been very good this season for Harwich in relief. He started a few games, or started 1 game. He's also appeared in long relief a few times as the 1-0 pitch misses upstairs, count 2-0. And La Sorsa came into this game having thrown 6 1/3 innings of work, struck out 7 batters, had not allowed a single run. And the 2-0 offering, this is low, count 3 balls and no strikes to John Rave. And we've mentioned a number of times how much he's able to walk. His walk plus strikeout rate is almost 50%. Runners on first and second, 1 out, a 6-5 Chatham Anglers lead. 3-0 pitch to Rave, and that one comes upstairs and inside almost hits him. Doesn't matter as he'll take first base nonetheless. The bases are loaded with 1 out. And again, you just have to wonder how long of a leash that Joe La Sorsa is going to have. He's already allowed 4 earned runs in an inning and a third. Bases are loaded, and the Chatham Anglers have an opportunity to blow the door open in this game.
I think also a little bit of due to matchups as well of back-to-back lefty hitters with Rave and now Ramirez, and also how quick Sutera can get warmed up down the bullpen. I don't think he got an early start down there.
First pitch runs upstairs and inside, count 1-0. He may not have gotten an early start, but the fact of the matter is La Sorsa can't seem to throw strikes right now. He walked Rave on 4 pitches. Counts now 1-0 on Ramirez. The 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball in there for a strike on the outside corner. Bases loaded, 1 out. 6-5 Anglers lead as Ramirez taps home plate, standing in the left-hander's batter's box.
Yeah, he's going to have to dig deep here and try to, there still could be a double play ball out there from the left-hander too, especially with his stuff and the break he has on it.
2-1 pitch, 1-1 pitch, excuse me, cut on and a high pop-up down the left field line. Coming over, making the catch is Lipsius. Now throwing back to third. It's not in time to get the runner, excuse me, shortstop's Casals out there in left field. Lipsius normally plays. He made a nice play ranging out towards the left field line, and then when he tried to get up and turn around and throw the ball, as he had to change his entire momentum, which was headed out towards left field, he had to rearrange himself, get himself headed towards home plate. He slipped and fell. Nonetheless, Woolley had left early, so he had to return to third base. Well, the bases are loaded with 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning. It's a 6-5 Anglers lead. And Coach Steve Englert heads out to the mound, and entering the game will be Tom Sutera. And Tom Sutera has been generally pretty good this season for the Harwich Mariners. He's had a couple appearances where he's struggled a little bit, but by and large, he's been good. As Sutera has a 2.84 ERA in 12 2/3 innings of work. Allowed 4 runs in those 12 2/3 innings. So he allowed a couple of runs versus YD. By and large, he's been outstanding out of the pen in long relief.
Yeah, no, Sutera's been kind of, as I said before in the pregame show, kind of the backbone of his bullpen. He's the guy that you may give an inning, and he can give you multiple innings if you need it. And here, we might see him for more than 1 inning. Especially when they're down a run here. If they can somehow maybe get a run back and tie things back up, we may see him for a couple more innings.
We'll step aside as Sutera warms up. The Mariners trail in this game 6-5 in the top half of the 6th inning. The bases are loaded with 2 outs for the Chatham Anglers. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Top half of the 6th inning from White House Field. The bases are loaded for the Chatham Anglers, as the new pitcher for the Harwich Mariners is Tom Sutera, facing off against Tristan English. First pitch cut on and fouled off. And normally you'd say Tristan English is the last guy you want to face. We were talking about the first 15 or so games for English, but he's struggled over the past couple of games. He's 0 for 2 tonight for the Chatham Anglers. He's now 1 for his last 10 at the plate. 0-1 pitch, cut on a high fly ball, the deep left center field, headed back to the track, to the wall. You can say goodbye. A grand slam off the bat of Tristan English, and the Chatham Anglers have blown the doors open in the top half of the 6th inning.
Yeah, that's a big insurance run for the Anglers. You're exactly right. It has really widened the margin here. This is now 10-5 Anglers lead, and it's tough now. Now they are in the 6th inning. They do have a couple of chances, but I mean, it just coming into this inning, they were up by a run, and now they find themselves down by 5 runs, and things aren't done yet.
Yeah, I'm more even look back to the inning before that. The Mariners led in this game 5-2, and for the most part, they appeared in the driver's seat as Drew Mendoza steps in from the left side. First pitch upstairs for ball 1, and They're up 5-2. It looks like they have control in this game. Despite the fact they allowed 2 runs in the top of the 5th, the Mariners still appear to be in that driver's seat. Then all of a sudden, a couple runs come across for Chatham, and then a grand slam off the bat of English. And this game is worlds different than it was one pitch earlier, as the 1-0 pitch is cut on and missed.
Yeah, 2 long balls on the inning, too, so.
1-1 pitch cut on and missed, and the count 1-2. Yeah, first one allowed from La Sorsa, 2-run bomb to left. And then the grand slam off the bat of Tristan English. Just not something you see every day with a grand slam like that, as the 1-2 pitch is cut on and fouled off down the first base side. And again, one swing of the bat. It's a 6-5 game. It's a game the Mariners have a real shot at coming back and winning. And, you know, especially in the bottom half of the 6th inning, this is a team that's been clicking offensively. They only need 1 run. All of a sudden, you need 5. And the 1-2 pitch to Mendoza misses outside, count 2-2. It's now a 10-5 Chatham Anglers lead. You may have picked up and left the broadcast for 30 minutes or so. It was 5-2 when he may have left. Well, it's 10-5 Anglers now. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses low and outside. Count goes full at 3-2. Matheson pitched very well tonight. Pitched 4 innings, allowed 2 runs. La Sorsa came in and struggled. He's going to get charged for all 3 runners on base as part of that grand slam. 3-2 pitch, cut on and miss. They strike out Mendoza. That'll on the top of the 6th, but not before the Chatham Anglers score 6 times. It was a 2-run homer off the bat of Michael Bush and a grand slam off the bat of Tristan English. So we're done with 5.5. It's a 10-5 Anglers lead. Welcome back inside White House Field. The Mariners now trail the Chatham Anglers 10-5 in the bottom of the 6th. So recap of how we got here. The Chatham Anglers struck twice in the top half of the 1st inning. A couple of base hits strung together. The Mariners responded with 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd as Danny Casals looks at ball 1. Low in the dirt. It's 4 runs scored on hit after hit after hit. The Mariners' bats were really clicking, and they add another run in the bottom half of the 4th inning as the 1-0 pitch is cut on and a high pop-up in the infield. The second baseman, Woolley, gets under it and makes the catch for the first out of the bottom half of the 6th inning. So it was a 5-2 game going into the top half of the 5th inning. And all of a sudden, the Chatham Anglers struck twice and then put up a 6th spot in the top of the 6th. There was a 2-run home run off the bat of Michael Bush and a grand slam off the bat of Tristan English. And they put up 6 runs in a short period of time as Lipsius takes ball 1 upstairs and outside, count 1-0. The 1-0 delivery. The lower part of the plate, count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 pitch, cut on a high fly ball in deep left field. Headed back to the track, to the wall is Simpson. You can say goodbye. It's a solo shot off the bat of Andre Lipsius. He hit his first a couple of games ago versus Orleans, and it's his second of the Cape League season tonight. And the Mariners cut the deficit to 10-6.
And that's a big run there for the Mariners. Lee's got 1 back. If anything in this inning, it keeps you around just a little bit longer. Maybe give some confidence down in the dugout as well. Like, this game's not over yet. And Lipsius just told everybody that it's not over yet, and they're ready to do some work, and they're in for the long haul.
Well, the Mariners have shown they've been able to fight back in games. They fought back versus Orleans, of course. That's the big case. They were down 8-2 entering the top half of the 7th inning. They scored 2 in the top of the 7th, 4 more in the top half of the 8th, and tied the game. First pitch misses low to Rivera, and then the 1-0 clips the inside corner, count 1-1. And the Mariners show they're back in this game, or at least to an extent with the home run from Lipsius. They're still trailing by 4 runs, but they've got 3 innings left. If the Mariners pitching staff can keep the Chatham Anglers under control, they'll be okay. As the 1-1 pitch is a high chopper back to the mound. Throw to first is in time to get Rivera. They're 2 away. Beat him only by a half step. Lipsius, his home run has at least shown the Mariners they're going to put up a fight. As Mason Meadows steps into the right-hander's batter's box. It's a 10-6 Chatham lead. It's been a bit of a home run parade tonight in Harwich, Massachusetts.
Yeah, just in the 6th inning alone, I mean, 2 in the top half and now 1 in the bottom half. That's 3. That's as many home runs as the Mariners had coming into this game.
First pitch misses inside to Meadows, count 1-0. Coming into this game, there was a home run from Watson, from Galland, from Casals, and 1 from Lipsius as the 1-0 pitch, breaking ball in there for a strike, count 1-1. So their 4 home runs were hit by the Mariners coming into this game. There weren't any others, were there?
No, that's it.
I think
I forgot Casals. That's what I forgot.
The 4 home runs coming in, and then there have been 3 in this inning, 2 from Chatham, 1 from Harwich. As the 1-1 pitches misses inside, count 2-1.
You just have to think as the Mariners become more acclimated to the wooden bats, the home run totals might tick up just a bit more.
2-1 pitch runs inside, count 3-1. That definitely happened last year in Harwich as well. You went through the first 10, maybe even 15 games, and I think there was only 1 home run. But once you hit the second half of the year, the bats started to heat up a little bit more. They were unable to make the playoffs, but still they had the hitting going a little bit better. As the 3-1 pitch is swung on, a line drive down third base line. It deflects off the glove of Ramirez into left field. And Meadows is looking 2. He slides in safely. So a 2-out double off the bat of Mason Meadows. And Mariners have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs at the bottom of the 6th.
You know, it was a hard hit ball right to third baseman Ramirez. I think that could probably go as a hit. That was a tough play for Ramirez even to make. And Meadows now, we'll see if his bat can continue to climb. He's on base for the second time this evening.
Yeah, I would be stunned if that went down as anything other than a hit. That was a very hard hit ball, and Ramirez was going to have a really hard time fielding it. That was much, much harder than a play at first base that Lipsius was going to have to make, which I thought was a very routine chopper over to first. They gave him a hit nonetheless as Gorski steps into the right-hander's batter's box to give Meadows a hit. It's his second on Cape Cod as the first pitch runs low and inside, and count 1 ball and no strikes on the right-handed hitter. Runner on second base, 2 outs, 10-6 lead for the Chatham Anglers as the 1-0 pitch gets away from Kale. And heading over to third base easily is Meadows. So runner on third with 2 outs as the Mariners look to cut further into this Chatham Anglers lead.
It's all you need to do is chip away, chip at a couple at a time, and you'll soon, you know, if you keep holding them off on the offensive end, we'll have to see, you know, what Sutera can do in the top half of the 7th. But
The 9-hitter, Gorski, steps back in, 2-0 pitch. Swung on, a high fly ball into shallow center field. Rave moves in and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. After 6 innings of play, the Mariners trail 10-6. They tacked down 1 run with a solo homer from Andre Lipsius. But at the end of 6 innings, the Mariners down by 4. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the top half of the 7th inning. Mariners trail in this game 10-6 versus the Chatham Anglers. Back out on the mound is Joe LaSorsa.
And Tom Sutera getting set here from the mound as the right-hander will face the right-hander.
The catcher, number 56, Nick Kale.
Seems like Nick Kale, I think, will pinch yet for Sable. As first pitch catches the inside corner for a strike. Kale out of the University of Washington. He also played back in Saturday's evening's win over the Mariners, as the Mariners trail 10-6 after the 6-run six. And the 0-1 is swung on a high pop fly towards right center field. Gowling moving over, finds the ball in the lights and able to make the catch for out number 1. So with 1 away in the top half of the 7th inning, sun begins to almost fully set here as the lights will take full effect. A little humidity starting to come out now. It's been very humid the last couple days on the Cape as we are set for July 4th coming up tomorrow.
Very warm week as well. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s over the weekend.
As the left-hander Constantine takes a big swing and a miss at the first pitch from Sutera.
Normal Cape Cod weather is 70, 72, 73. Don't usually see the 80s, but there was the mid-80s just last weekend.
They get that ocean breeze as the 0-1 is grounded on the ground over towards second base. Bobbled by Koff for a bit, throws over to first, but not in time, as Simpson's able to beat out that throw. So he's on base for back-to-back innings after he singled and scored back in the 6th, and here in the 7th, he reaches base.
It's a tough play for Eichhoff. Eichhoff is primarily a first baseman, a bit of a third baseman. We've seen him sort of play all over. Haven't seen him all that much at second base. So, as a utility guy, it's tough because you're going from one spot to the next one day after another. We've seen him in left field again, first base, third base, and now second. So, not totally used to that play.
As the first pitch is swung on and fouled off by Michael Bush, the first baseman. He had the big home run back in the 6th that went down the right field line down there as One man on with one man out here in the top half of the 7th inning. 10-6 Anglers lead over the Mariners. As you said before, Eichhoff, very versatile guy. They'll play all over the place as the one is fouled off again. And
but doing so is going to make you a little bit more prone to errors like that.
It's also a thing to look out, too, is the Mariners kind of, as the season's gone on, the errors have kind of ticked up a bit, and that might be just from guys playing all over the place from that you're really used to.
And Lipsius has been all over the place. Lipsius was at first, third. We've seen it first shortstop.
Yeah, Lipsius a natural shortstop, but getting a little first, and maybe he played a little first at Tennessee, but again, a little first and shortstop here on the Cape. As the 0-2 was spot on the outside corner, but just misses for a ball. 1-2 now on Bush.
Casals has played at second. He's played at short. I believe he's also had a few starts at third as well. So, again, he's been all over that middle infield. And then in the outfield as well, Gallen's sort of been all over the place. Gorski as well. The only player who only played one position while he was here was Watson, who was strictly in center field. But aside from that, players have been all over the outfield, all over the infield.
As the 1-2 just misses the outside corner again. For Shutira, can't even back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the power hitting first baseman out of UNC.
Players having to adjust to their new positions.
So Simpson off of first. Bush waits the 2-2 from Sutera. He kicks and deals. A 2-2 curveball swung on a line right over a leaping Eichhoff, and will find the grass over in right center field, picked up by Gallen, thrown back in. So back-to-back base runners for the Anglers have reached here with 1 out in the top half of the 7th inning. They look to try to extend their 10-6 lead into maybe even more. So Bush is having himself quite an evening now. He's now 2 for 4.
At the home run back in the top of the 6th inning.
For the Anglers from Georgia Tech, number 7, Kyle McCann.
As you may have just heard, Kyle McCann is pinch hitting now for Rankin Woolley, who pinched hit last inning. Woolley singled and scored. And now McCann will get the nod from the left side.
Thing about Kyle McCann is that he actually is only 1 for his last 10 at the plate, so surprised they took out Woolley, who had a base hit his last time up. For someone who's struggling a little bit at the plate, McCann did have a home run as the only hit he's had in his last 10 at-bats, though, so possibly a little bit of extra power.
The left-hander as the first pitch fastball is at the knees for a strike on McCann. Out of Georgia Tech, hitting .268, as you said before, kind of struggling as of late. He has 2 home runs on the year with 5 runs driven in, has an RBI out at second base as the 0-1 curveball bouncing the dirt. Is a nice stop by Meadows behind the plate. Can't even back up at 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-hander. So righty-lefty matchup, runners on a first and second, 1 out. After a fly out from Kale, start things off an error, and then a single has gone 2 Anglers on. And as the 1-1 fastball is spotted just outside, just misses the outside corner. 2-1 on McCann. 10-6 Anglers lead, look to tack out some more. They already have recorded 13 hits in this game, and we're in the 7th inning. As the 2-1 is lined down the first base line, will drop it for a base hit. Gallen fields it, spins in, throws over. 1 run is in, and holding up the stop sign at third is the third base coach. So a nice RBI double out of Kyle McCann, pinch hitting. As now the Anglers lead this one by a score of 11-6, and the bats continue to rake here in the 7th inning.
And this is exactly what I said the Mariners couldn't afford to do. If they're going to try to come back in this game, the pitching has to be rock solid. Have to make sure they don't allow many runs at all. And after allowing 11 runs through 7 innings, again, if it was 10-6, the Mariners be able to maybe tack on a run or 2 in the bottom of the 7th and make this maybe a 10-8 game, all of a sudden they have a shot coming into the 8th and 9th. But now that it's 11-6 and the runner's on second and third, they can make this 13-6 very easily. It's going to make that comeback for the Harwich Mariners just that much more difficult.
As Arena swings and misses at the first pitch fastball in the upper part of the zone, and that's one thing. If when you're trying to make a comeback, you can't keep giving up more runs, otherwise you're going to be playing catch up the whole rest of the game. As runners on second and third, one out here as the 0-1 curveball misses low and out of the zone against the shortstop Arenas. Arenas has 2 singles this evening. He scored twice, so he's 2 for 3 on the evening in the 9-hole spot for Chatham. Sutera comes set. The 1-1 pitch is located at the knees, but just misses low and outside for a ball 2-1 on Arenas. Arenas, who's only batting 148 this year, is having an evening, as I said before. He went 0 for 3 back in Saturday night's win over the Mariners. As he waits the 2-1 pitch from Sutera. The pitch, 2-1 is fouled off the glove of Mason Meadows. Count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the right-hander. So 2 men on with 1 out, runners on second and third. The 2-2 pitch from Sutera. Curveball misses down the zone. Good layoff there from Arenas. That's a tough pitch to lay off. A curveball down in the zone. As the count runs full, the payoff pitch. The 3-2 is swung on, and a high fly ball over towards right field. Getting under his gown, he can't stutter it. As he gets ready to throw towards home, tagging up. As he instead throws to third, and will yield. Well, the run towards home as Bush will come around to score, and tagging up to third now is McCann. So they stretch the lead now to 6 runs to lead this game 12-6 after the sac fly.
Yeah, it's another tough run to allow for the Harwich Mariners. Again, they're trying to come back in this ball game. They can't really afford to allow run after run and expect to come back in this game.
So the bullpen has got a little touched up here. As a first pitch strike to leadoff man Rafe is in there at the knees. And that's something we did not expect from this game. We see the starting pitching get a little roughed up, but not really since the YD game, maybe we haven't seen it. I mean, we saw back in the Chatham kind of things fall apart, but not deteriorate as fast as this game has.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, the Mariners were up 5-2, and we're talking like 45 minutes ago right now, and things look to be really, really good. But 10 runs later and just, 2 2/3 innings of work later, and it's a 12-2, 12-5, or 12-6, excuse me, Chatham Anglers lead. They've taken complete control of this ball game, and the Mariners are nearly out of this game. I mean, they have a shot to come back, as we've seen, versus Orleans, but it's a very tough road back at this point.
Terror comes set. The fast misses outside. The 2-1 pitch is cut on and missed by Rave up in the zone. Rafe has done a little bit of everything this evening. He's walked twice, doubled, tripled, and scored 3 times. He's driven in 1 run, so he's done almost everything Chatham has asked him for in the leadoff spot.
Sutera will only be charged with 1 earned run. Well, none from this inning, actually, because of the error by Eichhoff.
As a 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and Rave goes down on strikes. However, the Anglers will attack on 2 more insurance runs. They now stretch their lead to 12-6 after 6.5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Manor Network.
It's time to get up and off the 7th inning for the Mariners, number 4, the right fielder, Chris
And welcome back inside
Gallant.
White House Field for the home half of the 7th inning. Mariners like to try to gain some insurance, or excuse me, try to get back in this game as they trail 12-6.
Yeah, really tough 5th, 6th, and 7th inning on the mound from the Harwich Mariners. It was 2 runs in the top of the 5th, 6 in the top of the 6th, and 2 more in the top of the 7th inning. It was a home run parade in the 6th inning with a 2-run shot off the bat of Michael Bush, a grand slam from English. And the Mariners responded with 1 home run of their own from Andre Lipsius.
Yeah, they've scored all 10 of the 12 runs in the last 3 innings that Chatham has. As after showing bunt the first time, he takes a fastball. There is a 1-1 pitch, misses down below the knees for a ball. Count is 2-1 on the leadoff man, Gallant. As Gallant swings and a miss and loses the bat as it goes right into the Mariners dugout, and a couple players running out of there to get out of the way. We saw back in Chatham as well where a foul ball from an angler went right towards the third base dugout and right almost into it. So,
yeah, that's a dangerous play as Gallen loses his bat. You know, if it goes into the crowd or something like that, it becomes that much more dangerous.
he also broke a bat as well back in Chatham. So he's had a little bit of everything against Chatham this year.
So we're going to take a look around the Cape Cod Baseball League. Some scores. There are a couple of games are final, 3 games to be exact. 8-1 Chatham beat the Cotuit Kettleers, or excuse me, not Chatham, Wareham beat the Cotuit Kettleers. Chatham's playing right in front of us. And the game between Brewster and YD, a high-scoring game there, 12-10 YD win over Brewster.
As the 2-2 fastball runs up and away for a ball. Count runs full on Gallant.
Hyannis over Bourne. That won by a score of 6-4, also final, and 1 game left in progress.
As the fastball runs inside for a ball, and Gallant will take his base over at first with a leadoff walk.
That game is in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Falmouth Commodores lead the Orleans Firebirds 4-1. So how does this affect the standings in the East Division? Well, the YD Red Sox won tonight. That puts them all the way up to 24 points. The Harwich Mariners are technically in second for the time being, ahead of the Chatham Anglers, although the Anglers, if they hold on to win this game, will jump ahead of Harwich. And that will put the Mariners in third. Orleans well behind at 6-11, just 13 points. And Brewster 4-14-2, just 10 points.
And the Whitecaps will play the Mariners tomorrow in Brewster, 5 o'clock game. As the first pitch fastball is at the belt against Norman. Right on first here. The 0-1 is laid off by Norman. Misses up in the zone for a ball. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-hander out of Iowa.
And the important note about the division, so the top 4 teams in each division out of 5 make the playoffs. So the Mariners have to make sure they're not the last place team. And Orleans and Brewster are really struggling right now.
As the 1-1 is cut out and missed by Norman. Count is 1-2. And kind of saw some of the Orleans last year. I mean, they always sometimes you have the slow starts and then they just heat things up once July hits. Well, to see that happens this year, and they've had a lot of games where they've lost by 1 or 2 runs. I mean, against us, we've had, walk-off home run and a go-ahead 2-run home run, and then 1 3-2. So, as Norman takes a big swing on a fastball, elevated up in the zone, he goes down on strike. So 1 out here in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
Well, Brewster and Orleans have combined for a record of 10, 25, and 3. So it's been a real struggle for both those teams so far this season.
Even just looking at the run differential for Brewster, it's -45.
It's been a struggle for them all year long, just 1-8-1 in their last 10.
Their pitching they've yielded 118 runs. Now, that is a ton. As a first pitch fastball is taken by the third baseman, Aaron Shunk.
The team pitching totals coming into tonight's game, the Harwich Mariners had allowed 49 earned runs, an ERA of 2.71. That led the Cape League. Now, after tonight, with 10 earned runs allowed so far, I bet that will go up. They'll no longer be first, probably second at that point behind Chatham. In last place is Brewster. Their ERA is near 5. And just to give you an idea, earned runs versus regular runs, they have allowed 26 unearned runs, and that is a real issue for the Brewster Whitecaps.
As the 1-1 is chopped foul towards the Mariners dugout after the 0-1 fastball missed inside for ball. So count is 1-2 now on Shunk. Gallant off of first after the leadoff walk.
It's one thing to have allowed 118 earned runs. It's a totally different thing to have allowed 92 earned runs and 26 unearned runs. I mean, 26 unearned runs, that's a real problem from the field.
As the 1-2 is swung on and missed and tipped in the mid of Kale. So down on strikes goes Shunk. So back-to-back strikeouts now.
But still, the Mariners find themselves in a very good position playoff-wise. Even if they're 9-10-1, even if they were to drop a few more games, they're significantly ahead of Brewster. Brewster has a long way to go to pick themselves up out of the last place. And so I think that the Mariners shouldn't have any trouble making the postseason. They're plus 4.5 games over last place, and there's a team in between them as well.
As the first pitch is swung on and missed by Eichhoff. Now it is a long season. Things could happen, but I do agree with you with Brewster down in the cellar. But we'll see what goes on from here. As it looked like a promising inning to the start after Gallen's walk. Back-to-back strikeouts from Belge. Did a good job coming back here as they're 2 away here. As the 0-1 is on the outside corner for a strike. Count is 0-2. So no balls, 2 strikes on the left-hand hitting Eichhoff. Gallant off of first. Belge comes set. Lefty-lefty matchup. Fastball is swung on and missed, and Eichhoff goes down on strikes for the 3rd time this evening. So that'll do it. 7 complete innings. Anglers lead the score of this one by 12-6. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the top half of the 8th inning. Leadoff man is Ben Ramirez as he takes a first pitch fastball 4 ball. New pitcher on the mound for the Mariners. It is Austin Wood out of Stetson as the 1-0 is chopped right in front of the pitcher's mound. Wood charges in and flip on a first to Lipsius is in time, so one quick out for the Mariners. As they look to try to contain this game at a 12-6 as they trail the Chatham Anglers.
Number 12, the right fielder, Tristan English.
So with one away in the top half of the 8th inning, it is the 3-hole hitter Tristan English out of Georgia Tech. He homered back in the 6th inning, and what really separated this game with the grand slam as the first pitch is popped over towards the Chatham dugout. And Alessius finds the railing, able to make the catch over there. So 2 up, 2 down so far for Austin Wood. So far, so good for the right-hander. Wood making his 5th appearance on this Cape League season. Only 3 innings of work. As there are 2 outs here at the top of that half of the 8th inning. Drew Mendoza, pinch hitter actually. And it's going to be Jake Taylor out of Oklahoma State.
Taylor has struggled as of late. Just 2 for his last 20. He's also struck out in 12 of his last 24 at-bats.
As he gets the pinch hitting on for the designator Drew Mendoza with 2-8. Takes a first pitch fastball at the belt for a strike. Jake Taylor, also the same name as Jake Taylor from the movie Major League. Both of them are catchers as well, so go figure.
On another note, it's good to see Austin Wood getting a couple of quick outs in this inning.
As off-speed pitches catch the outside corner for a strike. 0-2 on the right-hander.
Of course, we saw Austin Wood struggle versus YD, and now sort of turning that around. A couple of good appearances in a row. So he really looks to put himself back on the right path.
So nobody on with 2 outs here. Top half of the 8th inning. The 0-2 pitch runs just a bit outside for a ball count as 1-2. The 1-2 from Wood. Curveball runs outside for a ball. Can't even back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the crowd is decimated just a bit here from White House Field with Mariners trailing by 6 runs in the late innings as the 2-2 pitch is fouled off behind home plate.
Yeah, I'd say about 60% of the crowd has left tonight's game. It was really packed. Again, I don't know if I've seen the ballpark this packed for any game here at White House Field over the past year and a half since I've been here.
The 2-2 off-speed pitch just misses down and out of the zone for ball. Count runs full on Taylor.
In all fairness, though, I will say that we are usually up in the booth and we don't get a great look at the crowd down at the field level. But tonight it was packed. I would estimate at least 2,500 fans were here for the Mariners.
As the full count fastball runs just a bit upstairs, and Taylor will take his base over at first. So great at bat for Taylor after being down the count 0-2, able to work his way back and work a walk against the right-hander Wood as he'll go to the stretch for the first time this evening. As now the catcher will step in from the right side, Nick Kale. After he pinch hit it for Blake Sable. So two outs here right on first in the top half of the 8th inning. 12-6 Anglers lead. First pitch misses for a ball on the right-hander Kale. Kale only flied out last at bat. Ready matchup. Wood comes set and deals from the stretch. Fastball runs up and out of the zone for a ball count. Heads to 2-0 on Sable.
Yeah, now Austin Wood appears to have lost the zone. He's now thrown 6 out of his last 7 pitches for balls.
It's a 2-0 swung on a line down the left field line, just foul.
He started off his outing so nicely too, which he got a quick out versus Ben Ramirez, another quick out versus Tristan English, and then got a couple of strikes to get ahead of Taylor, but Taylor worked 4 of the next 5 pitches for balls, and then he struck the And then Austin Wood had the first 2 pitches to Kayla's balls as well.
The 2-1 pitch to Kale, runs upstairs, throw down to first, and back in time, head first is Taylor after the throw down from Meadows.
Yeah, the runner on first base there, as you mentioned, Taylor had a bit of a large secondary lead, but I don't think it was necessarily large enough to warrant a throw. Meadows threw down nonetheless.
The 3-1 swung on a line hard down the third base line again, but a foul. So the counter run full on Kale. Here are 2 outs in the top half of the 8th inning. 12-6 Anglers lead over the Harwich Mariners. And what was just a bundle of runs, and thanks to the Anglers, as 2 in the 5th, 6 in the 6th, and 2 in the 7th have really stretched this game out now, as the Mariners had a lead at one point. As with 2 outs in the full count, running towards second is Taylor, but off-speed pitch misses low and outside for a ball. So Kale will take his base over at first. So back-to-back walks with 2 outs here, issued by Wood.
Number 18, the left fielder.
So Michael Bush will get another at-bat here in this game as he steps in from the right side, home plate umpire. Michael Finn will go out to brush home plate.
He's had a 2-run home run in this game. Also scored 2 runs tonight. It's been outstanding, 2 for 4 on the day.
Looking for his 3rd base hit in his Cape League debut, which was activated today by the Anglers. Power hitting first baseman out of UNC takes a first pitch fastball up above the zone for a ball. Wood looks back, Taylor at second, kicks and deals towards home. Fastball runs low and away, count heads to 2-0.
Coach Gruenberg will jog out to the mound. It's interesting. Whenever Gruenberg's out there, he always has that quick pace to the pitcher's mound.
He always gets to get his warm his legs up or something and just running out there.
Different pitcher, different coaches, that is, have different sort of styles in terms of how they have out to the mound. It's more of a slow walk from Englert. Gruenberg, it's a quick jog.
As Bush awaits the 2-0, goes right back to the screen over the head of Meadows. And advancing another 90 feet.
And again, we see some issues with the control from Austin Wood. Has not yet allowed a run in the inning, but he got a couple of quick outs. Then he walked Taylor. And then for Kale, he got it was another walk. Then he's behind in the count. 3 balls and no strikes now on Fogel.
As a 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike. And I actually think, as you guys now, before or after the second pitch, that Adam Fogel is up. Because, you know, I never had a number for Michael Bush, so I thought it was 18 then, but it's actually Adam Fogel. It's Colin Simpson's in the 6-hole. As the 3-run pitch is fouled off over the first base side, so count runs full on Fogel.
$11 out of the last 15 pitches from Wood have been balls, so looking to get back and find the strike zone.
As a 3-2 pitch just misses low below the knees for a ball, and Fogel will take his base over at first.
Andrew
so bases are loaded now.
Andrew Miziazik is warming up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen.
There have been no hits to this point in this inning. All 3 have been walks by Wood. He got a quick 2 outs before
Number 33,
3 straight walks.
Michael Bush.
And this is now Michael Bush. From the left side, first pitch fastball misses off the plate outside for a ball. Anglers looking to attack on a few more here as first pitch hits. Bush, and he'll take his base over at first. So a run will come across to score as Taylor will come around to score. As now the lead stretches to 7 runs as the Anglers lead by a score of 13-6.
Yeah, just a couple of insurance runs for the Chatham Anglers, nothing more than that, as the Mariners down by a significant margin in the top half of the 8th inning. We'll have a couple more shots, but at this point, with the 7-run differential, it's going to be next to impossible to come back.
As Fryman takes a first pitch fastball in there for a strike. Another pinch hitter, Braden Fryman. He played back in Saturday night's victory over the Harwich Mariners. Takes a first pitch fastball for a strike as the 0-1 is swung on a line out towards left center field. Coming on is Gorski. He'll make the catch on the run. Coming in towards left center, and that'll do it. So after 3 straight walks from Wood, he gets out of it. Or he gives up 1 run hit by pitch, but he gets out of the jam from doing any more damage. So Mariners trail by a score of 13-6 after 7.5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the latter half of the 8th inning. Mariners trail by a score of 13-6. It's been a tale of 2 games after Mariners are up 5-2.
Leading off the bottom of the 8th
After they scored 4 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. So after 4, it was 5-2. And then 2 in the 5th by Chatham to cut it back, and then they just erupted with 6 runs in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 1 in the 8th.
Yeah, it was run after run after run in the 5th, 6th, 7th innings. 2 runs you mentioned in the 5th, and then a 2-run home run, and followed by a grand slam in the top of the 6th. And that, for all intents and purposes, put the Mariners out of this game.
First pitch fastball runs up and away out of the zone for a ball on Danny Casal. Still Jeff Bellage on the mound making his 5th inning of work here as Casal takes a first pitch, or a 1-0 fastball. In there for a strike count, back at 1 ball and 1 strike on the right-hander. Lefty-righty matchup, Casals out of University of Maine. The 1-1 is lifted out of play.
No, it still is important, these at-bats for these players, even if the Mariners are down by a large margin. And, it's never over until it's over. The Mariners put together a couple of runs in the bottom of the 8th, and maybe they find themselves with a shot in the 9th.
As the 1-2 is fouled back again off the screen.
But these at-bats are, of course, very important for all the players still. If they can get themselves some momentum going in the right direction heading into tomorrow's game versus Brewster.
The 1-2 to Casals. Pitch is swung on a line over towards left field, making a diving catch. On his tail end, a nice play over there by Adam Fogel, who just entered into the game last half inning, making a nice play over there in left field.
Yeah, looked like Danny Casals is going to have himself a base hit, possibly some extra bases down the left field side, but really nice sliding catch by Simpson out there in left field.
So with 1 out on the bottom 8th inning, 13-6 Anglers lead as Andre Lipsius, who homered back in the 6th inning, was the last run recorded by the Mariners. First pitch fastball gets to the screen for a ball. That pitch might have slipped from Belge there. As Lipsius awaits the 1-0 pitch. Fastball again runs upstairs for ball. Count heads to 2-0 on the right-hander. No action down in the Chatham bullpen. As you said before, Mizyazik warming down there in left field as the 2-0 to Lipsius is swung on and fouled back over the first base bleacher side, out of play for strike number 1. So 2-1 count on Lipsius. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Nobody on. As it is Chatham 13, Harwich 6. The 2-1 pitch misses down below the knees for a ball. Count runs to 3-1 on the first baseman. Belge gets his side from the windup. The 3-1. Look like maybe a slider there. Misses. Well, went inside for a ball. And Lipsius will jog down the first after the walk.
Number 11, the designated hitter.
As now we start to see some action. Maybe down the Chatham bullpen is actually start beginning to throw down there.
Meeting at the mound for the Chatham Anglers as well.
So Gabe Rivera is set to do things from the right side with 1 out here after a walk from Lipsius. Again, looking at the upcoming schedule for the Mariners, they play at Brewster tomorrow, game at 5 o'clock. Then they're back here on Thursday, home game at 6:30. And then Friday, Saturday, 2 road games. First one at YD, 5 o'clock start time. And then on Saturday at Chatham, 7 o'clock. Before Sunday, Monday, back-to-back home games against Katuitt at 5:30 on Sunday, and Monday at 6:30 against Hyannis. So they'll see 4 straight Eastern opponents before they face 2 Western and Katuitt and Hyannis. As there's 1 out here in the 8th inning and a big swing and miss by Rivera. Rivera in the 7-hole this evening. He has walked and scored, struck out and grounded out. He's looking for his first hit today as the 0-1 is swung on and missed by Rivera. He's down the hole now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes on the right-hander. Lefty-righty matchup. Belge looks back. Lipsius at first. The 0-2 runs just a bit up in the zone. So 1-2. The 1-2 pitch is cut on and missed by Rivera, and he goes down on strikes.
Just to give you guys an update around the Cape Cod Baseball League. There is one more game that is in play. It is the Falmouth game versus Orleans. Orleans is home in that game, and the Falmouth Commodores lead that one 6-1 over the Orleans Firebirds. The games that are final, YD over Brewster in a high-scoring 12-10 game. Wareham beat Katuitt 8-1, and Hyannis took down the Bourne Braves 6-4.
So Lipsius still on first, and stepping in is Mason Meadows, who takes a first pitch below the knees for a ball. He doubled back in his last at-bat in the 6th inning. He is 1 for 2 today as he also walked as that pitch gets away from the catcher, Kalen. John going towards second as Lipsius. He'll take a turn around second base, so he advances another 90 feet into scoring position with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So still 2 outs still remain here in the bottom of the 8th. Lipsius now on second base. Belge comes set from the stretch to face off against the right-hander Meadows. The 2-0 pitch. 2-seam fastballs in there. Right at the belt for a strike. 2-1 count on Meadows. 2-1. Runs way upstairs. It was over towards the head area. Meadows count is 3-1 on the catcher out of Georgia. Gorski standing on deck. As a 3-1 of Meadows is swung on and missed. Might have gotten a piece of that one into the mitt. As the count run full here with 2 outs. In the home half of the 8th inning, 13-6 lead for the Anglers. The payoff pitch is swung on and miss. And Bell is able to retire. Rivera Meadows on case to end the half inning as the Chatham Anglers 13 and the Harwich Mariners 6. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back from White House Field for the top half of the 9th inning. New pitcher on the mound for the Harwich Mariners and is Andrew Mizyazik out of Northeastern. Mizyazik is 1-0 on the season with a .29 ERA in 7 appearances. He has 3 saves to go along with that in 7 innings pitched. Has only gave up 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts for the Southpaw.
It's been an outstanding summer so far from Andrew Mizyazik, and even the earned run that he allowed, I hesitate to even call it an earned run. It was a ball that was a high sky pop-up into left center field that the Mariners should have been able to get an out on, but Gallen lost it in the lights. So after he lost the ball in the lights, he threw his hands up saying, I have no idea where that ball is. So it has to go down as a hit and end up being a triple for the hitter. So he ended up scoring and went down as an earned run against Mizyazik. But normally there would be no runs allowed so far from Mizyazik. So they're trying to get him some work because he hasn't pitched since Orleans. And in the game versus Orleans that he pitched, hadn't pitched in 3 or 4 days since then. So again, trying to keep his arm warm so that when they need him late in games in the next couple of days, they shouldn't have any problem using him.
As first pitch runs up in the zone for a ball. The 1-0 is swung on and foul back out of play. Count even back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Lefty-lefty matchup pitch. Bats in the dirt for ball. Count is 2-1 now. There's John McMillan pinch hitting for Jorge Arenas. As a 2-1 fastball is in there for a strike to McMillan. Mizyazik, of course, works very quickly in his counts. So nobody on, nobody out here in the top of the 9th inning. 2-2 pitches. Foul tipped into the mid for a strike 3. McMillan goes down on strikes. So Mizyazik picks up a strikeout on his first bat he faces, and he has been sharp this year.
The center fielder, John Rave.
A nice pitch by Mizyazik on the strikeout there, using the breaking ball effectively.
So John Rave, the leadoff man, comes back around, takes a fastball up and in.
Misiazic is someone who's not going to overpower you with his heat. He's got really good off-speed stuff there and mixes up his pitches really nicely.
As he pops one up over just left of the pitcher's mound, Misiazic will come off the mound, field it, and make the catch for out number 2. And what's always interesting, you don't see a pitcher very often field his position, unless it's a bunt or a ground ball, but a pop-up, you don't see that very often.
The third baseman.
Obviously, it wasn't a strong pop-up. It was kind of off the end of the bat, or excuse me, jammed him on the hand, so it kind of, you know, not a high one, but still.
That's generally true. Generally, the pitcher will give way to the infielders, but because it was not a high pop-up, he was the only one who was going to be able to make a play on it, and he did so adequately.
As he faces Ben Ramirez, the third baseman, he takes ball 1 on a fastball that misses the outside corner and goes right back to the fastball in the inside corner this time. But that misses as well, so 2-0 count on Ramirez. Pitch is spot on the knees for a ball. Counter runs all the way to 3-0. And again, we'll be back in Brewster tomorrow for July 4th. First pitch at 5 o'clock. Pitch runs up in the zone again. A 4-pitch walk issued to Ramirez as he's on base for only the second time this evening.
You're going to walk a player, 4-pitch walk, not the worst way to do it. Keeps your pitch count down.
Number 12,
Especially
the
when
right
there's not
fielder,
much, you know,
Tristan
it's not going to be a key runner or anything like that going on. Just trying to get some of these, work on some of his pitches, and they'll face off against the right-handed hitting Tristan English, the right fielder, out of Georgia Tech.
You mentioned Tristan English.
Oh, boy. And that one hits him right on the hands. And he'll take his base after having some words with play umpire Michael Finn, maybe just trying to say, you know, explain that hit him on the bottom side of the shoulder.
It looked a little close to see whether or not it hit the knob of the bat or his forearm. I initially thought it hit the knob of the bat, but you know, I'm not Tristan English. I didn't feel that pitch, and don't want to tell him it didn't hit him if it did.
So with 2 outs, runners on first and second now after walking a hit by pitches. Jake Taylor coming back around. He walked back just last half inning as the first pitch is popped out of play towards the first base side over by the hill over there. And what's been an interesting game for the Mariners because they started out well with the starting pitching, and Madison went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, but as a fastball is fired on the outside half, the English count is 0-2. Or excuse me, on Mendoza. Or not Mendoza, Jake Taylor. All these substitutions really messing up my scorebook. As the 0-2 is lined over towards short on a hop. Over towards Casales at second. He throws on a Eichhoff at second, and a fielder's choice retires the Anglers there. So they lead this one by a score of 13-6, heading into the bottom half of the 9th inning. Listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the bottom half of the 9th inning. Mariners trail 13-6 as Gregory Valise will get the nod here on the mound for the Anglers. New pitcher takes over for Jeff Bell. Just a first pitch to Matt Gorski is swung on and fouled back out of play.
And again, these are important at-bats for the players, even if this is a game where it's a 7-run game and the Mariners may be out of reach at this point. It'll be awfully tough for them to erase a 7-run deficit in the 9th. It's important for these guys to, have a good approach to the plate, put together some base hits, and, show the scouts that are, of course, in attendance that can put some good swings on the ball.
Matt Gorski swung and miss at the 0-1 and the 0-2. Fastball bouncing the dirt, good block by the catcher Kale there. Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right-hander Gorski. So nobody on, nobody out here in the home half of the 9th inning, and you're exactly right. Just going up there trying to still have an approach, but it's not a big spot. Just maybe trying to also help your stats as well. As the 1-2 pitch runs outside, count even back up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
We don't have that many at-bats. Stats are impacted more with every at-bat, smaller sample size.
Yeah, the 2-2 is swung on and missed by Gorski, and he goes down on strikes.
The right fielder from Boston College.
As up to the top of the order now is Chris Galland. He's driven 2 runs this evening for the Mariners. He is 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. He also walked as well back in the 7th inning. As the first pitch from Vlies misses downstairs for a ball on the right-handers. There's also defensive change as Greg Jones is in at shortstop as the 1-0 swung it over towards Jones. Ever short picks it up, throw across the diamond is in time to get out the speedy Galland. Mark at 6-3. So 2 outs here as the Mariners are down to their final out as they trail 13-6. Here in the bottom of the 9th inning, 2 outs, nobody on.
Number 19, the left fielder from Iowa, Ben Norman.
So Ben Norman will set to do things from the left side, facing the right-hander Valise. Valise from the windup. First pitch is at the letters for a strike. Norman, who is 1 for 3 this evening, he was hit by a pitch back in the first. 0 for 2 after the sac fly drew over a run in the 3rd. The 0-1 misses the inside half for ball count is 1-1. The 1-1 to Norman pitches cut on and missed. Norman swinging out of his shoes on that one a little bit, but Please gets a sign from Kale. The 1-2 pitch to Norman. Pitch is cut on and miss as he loses the bat as well. And
another one goes flying. It must be something to do with these Mariners bats.
And also maybe it's a little misty out here. It's kind of humid, so that could do as well. But anyhow, it ends on a strikeout as the Harwich Mariners fall to the Anglers by a score of 13-6. Austin, what happened tonight?
Well, the Mariners bats got going early. They had a really strong start to the game hitting-wise, and I liked Mathewson off the mound. I thought he pitched well, and I think he pitched especially well recovering after the troubling first inning. He allowed 2 runs in the first inning. There were a number of hits from this Chatham Anglers lineup, but he settled down nicely. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th inning were each really, really strong. I thought there was a good chance he was going to go back out for the 5th inning, but he was taken out. And then on the other side, from the Mariners bats, 4 runs in the bottom half of the 3rd inning was really impressive. They added another one in the bottom half of the 5th inning with an RBI single. So things looked like they were going quite well. Mariners appeared to be in the driver's seat, but all of a sudden, the Chatham Anglers tack on 2 runs in the 5th. They have a grand slam in the 6th, followed by, and along with the 2-run home run. And all of a sudden, the scheme has changed completely. In the game that looked like it was the Mariners game, the bullpen was unable to hold it.
Yeah, that grand slam really put a nail in the coffin for the Mariners. I mean, it just put things way out of reach. Even, I mean, if it was a 1 or 2 run or even 3-run game, I think it would have been a big difference. But it was already a 1-run game at the time, so it stretched to 5, and that just too much to handle, I think, for the Mariners at once. So that will do it for here from White House Field. We'll see you tomorrow night back in Brewster for the 4th of July, 5 o'clock start time. 4:45 pregame show will start. So that would do it. I'm Thomas Hinton for my broadcast partner, Austin Rooney. The Harwich Mariners fall by a score of 13-6. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for listening.